Now here's the thing, even if I didn't have Lightborn, as long as I played smart, the Bully squad really isn't a threat. Because what happens with these squads is they are so focused on bullying you that they don't do gens. Now they only did gens here because they realized, oh shit, he has Lightborn, we can't bully him, except for maybe established. What? She has sins to all people!
Oh, Whistle, help me! Whistle, no, you're forward behind!
Yeah, no, bye.
Puppy. Holy crap, I can kill Puppy. I can kill, yes. I can kill Puppy. I killed Puppy.
Thank you. I already had one. Why didn't I use it? I always forget I have those incendiaries or something. No, you're stupid. Screw you, Nugget, you're stupid. I am all those mods. So look, I shoot him in the face as I miss 5 shots in a row and stare her in her loving eyes and as she strangles me. You son of a bitch! Of course you did. Just get up there. Just go. Just go.
Oh boy, I'm back to hell. You fucked me back to hell.
Little privacy, please. Oh, okay. Well,
I'm here for
together.
the show.
Come on, get on here.
Go ahead, get it going. I paid good money for this.
Bionics, get in there. Let me shut the door.
I paid good money for this.
Have fun. Oh, that's a lap dance right there. Outhouse lap dance.
On the shitter. I'll deal with Ouija board. You all go deal with Ghost. I'll go deal with Ouija board. One over here. I'll have to be in Ouija board. Why would I have to be in the same room? I'm gonna break the Ouija board and make it hung. You're looking for fingies? We just need fingies. I forgave you, Legion, you're good. Like it's someone who's fuck you, Ghost. Yes, my evil plan works. Don't ever let the lead demon get the Ouija board. Ah, my evil plans. If he because he's gonna come back if he knows what he's doing. He's gonna come back. He's gonna get me. If I wasn't wounded, I'm gonna try to be funny. I do dance. Dance. Did I please be my master, Daddy Pyramid Head? Yes. Yes. Let's touch the ass. Come here. Stand still. Stand still. Let's get him, okay? Beat my ass, Daddy.
Flame, flame.
Walk straight. Walk straight.
No, no. It's on you.
Oh no.
Pass there. Now go.
Oh, you just make me a fail, right? Haha, I'm awkwardly shaking. Can we just hear?
Yeah, you can gobble like turkeys on the hook.
It's more or less just like why
Chat, we're gonna get it. This is the last one. We're gonna get a perfect run. We're gonna get a perfect run without me having a save scam. Up or down? Up or down? Up or down, chat? We're having a perfect run. Up or down? Up. I see up. I see up. Down. Cindy. Cindy, use your psychic powers. Up or down? This comes down to Cindy. Don't fail us, Cindy. Whatever sorry bastard you're dragging with you. Up or down, Sydney? Up or down? It's all the minigame. Up. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Holy shit. Did we actually get a perfect... Holy shit, Chad, you got a perfect run. And we got... Arrows. Arrows. That's all we got. That's why you jumped that. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. She gets to live. She gets to live. She may be funny. She gets to live. She gets to live. There's a person there. Cancel. Stop doing that. Go. Go, Grandpa. Go. Go, Dad. Oh, hi. Execute. Oh, windows. What are you doing? No. Execute. Really? Okay. He just jumps out the window. Okay. Okay. First kill. He just jumps out the fucking window. Alright. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm not in range of a checkmate anywhere. Lost me. Oh, God. No. I forgot not to get that close to the edge. Excuse me while I bash my head on my table. One moment. I can't. Oh shit! Oh crap! Ah, clip that. Okay, that's getting. Holy shit. Oh, okay. Outside. Nice. Alrighty, alrighty. Greetings, everyone. We are back. Today we're doing something a little different today. Now we will be playing DVD, but we might be watching videos for a while, for a little bit. I got 2 videos lined up. One is pretty long. Actually, no, well, they're both about like 12, 15 minutes, so we'll be about 25 minutes, roughly speaking, just watching videos. So you consider it almost like a React day today, which is why on Twitch I have it set to just chatting and not DVD just yet, because we're watching videos. Now the reason for this, and also hello Dark Flame, hello Spad. Let me spot some bops real quick. Give you some bops. But so we'll be watching some videos. They're very basic videos. Anybody's, you know, bother with DVD at all should be familiar with these if you ever look up like tutorial stuff. I've seen them several times before. The problem is I'm trying to really push it into my head to follow these things so that way I actually properly do them. Because there's a lot of times, so what we're going to watch specifically, we're going to look at killer tips and we're going to look at how to loop as killer. Because for some fucking reason, almost every loop video is about survivors. I can only find 1 or 2 about killers, and you know, one of them's spooky loops. And he doesn't even go through like every palette or every like loop either, which is disappointing. Let's see here. Anyways, so let's skip on to it. So, oh, why is it not? No, I'm in the wrong thing. Plop. Alrighty. So here we have a spooky loop video. Let me right there. And we're just gonna watch it. It's very basic stuff. It's how to loop things as a killer. Most of this I do know. The other reason why I'm watching this is because just because you know a thing doesn't mean you apply it. You know what I mean? Like, you can show me on paper a loop in DVD, and I can, roughly speaking, I get an idea of how you should loop it. But if I'm in the middle of a game and I'm not thinking, I'm not going to do it properly, right? There's plenty of loops I just do horribly as killer. And it especially shows when I play M1, why my favorite killers tend to be ones that have, like, Nemesis or Alien that can hit over things. Why I like them is because they just shut down a lot of loops. But, I don't think this would be, like, a big ongoing series or anything. Like, I'll think about it. Generally with my own stuff, I'm not even going to say content, because I haven't really done anything in a while. But, generally, I'm just fucking around. We're just gonna have some fun. I'm gonna throw things and see what sticks on the board. And we're just gonna experiment, right? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna watch this video. Now, I might skip a little bit here and there. I don't think I'd really, we'll see. We'll probably just watch the whole thing. I'm gonna comment on certain parts of my experience as a killer. My skill level as a killer, I say, at best is average or below average, to be honest. I mean, it depends. Like, some areas I'm better at than others. Like, I'm terrible at dealing with anti-loop. But on a good day, though, I'd say my macro game's pretty decent. On a good day. On average day, it's, yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and do. So we're gonna look at the looping video first, and let's get to it.
Figured I'd start you off with something
Oh, hold
easy.
on, I need to turn off. Boop.
LNT walls. Now, catching a survivor in this structure is very easy.
I
However, you'd
always
be
do
very
this wrong.
surprised with how many killers run
As killer, I do it wrong every fucking time. How am I doing? I'm doing great. Oh, let me pause this real quick. I'm doing great, Dark Flame. How are you doing, Spad? I hope you're doing fine. I've been off and on. I will say...
Survivor's approach really doesn't matter as the chase generally goes.
Yeah, I always do... Hold on real quick, though. I always do this fucking loop wrong. Every fucking
This
time.
style is set up so the survivor catches the fast fault every single time. By chasing the survivor from the outside, all you're doing is putting more distance in between you
Maybe
and
not
your
that
target,
wrong,
as
but
you
I
have
do
to
it
trace
wrong.
the outskirts of the loop. I'm sure you can imagine how this is not efficient.
Yeah, he's on, like, the way obvious and efficient way. I wouldn't say I do it that bad, but I do it bad.
Instead, you want to cut the loop in half by going on the inside and forcing the survivor to take a bad
Good to hear. I'm
ball or run
alright.
back to
He's
the
D&D
same
session
window.
at the side.
Not only will this
Ooh,
save
doing
you time,
D&D.
but this pathing is the
I hope it's going well
appropriate
for you. I
way to
hope you're
deal
doing
with
all the
destruction.
pew-pews and stat
As a killer,
stats.
you emit a red stain, which is very easily detected by survivors when looping. In the event of the survivor choosing to vault the first window,
Yeah, I think right here, my
once you've
problem
reached
is,
the middle of the wall makes for an easy hit.
Like, doing that, I
what-
always worry that if I try that, the survivor's going to notice it, go the other way, and I've wasted my time. And basically, my problem with this loop, I'm not saying it's like a super hard loop or anything, but my problem with this loop, if it's a good survivor, is that you have a very strong possibility of just completely resetting your looping session with this loop. Like, the worst loops are the ones that you can reset if somebody fucks up like a 50-50. Those are the worst ones. Because if you fail this loop and it's good survivors, that's a Jin gone.
But if your target
That's my
seems
problem
more
with that.
experienced, by turning around while chasing the survivor,
you know,
will
assuming
give
they're
off
actually
the
doing their damn
perception that
Jins.
you're backpedaling towards the window, as your red stain is no longer visible. The goal here is to cause a moment of hesitation and a free hit with this mind game.
Then, mind you, there's also the problem with these sort of things, where a lot of these videos presume that the survivor always knows, like they know the 100% optimal strategy. What also happens sometimes, especially for like my elo, where I'm just like, I bounce between like pretty decent survivors and basically, as I say, I bounce between SEAL Team 6 and the Goonies is where my MMR is. You'll get survivors who are not that great. Like, let's take this loop for example. I'm making assumptions here. So is he assuming that the survivor's always going to go through this window here? He never assumes that they're just going to break off to the other side and take the other window. Now, and that could be either a fucking genius survivor or a bad survivor that doesn't do that. It doesn't happen too often, but it's these random, unpredictable things that throw a lot of people off. Because, like, there'll be games, right, where... Because I always make the comparison between Goonies and SEAL Team 6. Like, I'll have a game where I'll 4K, regardless of how good the other team was or how good I played. I'll 4K, which obviously boosts up your elo. And it'll shoot me against, like, really good survivors. And let me make clear, I actually like going against decent survivors. Not ones that are going to stop me, like, completely, like, another blowout. But I do like going against survivors that are, like, you know, maybe one or two deviations above me so I can actually learn. I actually hate going against Goonies unless I'm having a really bad day, which doesn't happen too much. And my problem is, like, I'll get those 4K, or I'll just get stomped by higher survivors for good reason, and then it'll throw me against Goonies. And all the things I learn from the higher level survivors, and I try to apply them to the lower level survivors, it barely works, because the lower level survivors do things that are unpredictable. I'm not saying it's the case. Obviously, if I was just good, if I just got good, the lower survivors would not survive, period. And I still do. I do get them pretty often, because they're baby survivors. They don't know what they're doing. But it's just a small little note.
Moving on to another tile, the jungle gym.
Oh yeah, I always do these wrong. There's no, unless you have powers, there's no special thing you can do with these loops. You just have to chase them.
There are some loops that are just not worth being fancy, as you just want to eventually burn the pallet and block the window.
And these are the worst ones too. Because any loop where you have to just chase them and hope they drop the pallet are a pain in the ass.
Unlike the LNT wall.
Especially if the survivor has certain perks that makes to where they can get out. They don't have to drop the pallet, they can just get out, and they save that pallet for later.
Once they burnt that resource, it's gone forever. Keep closing distance and fight the urge to attempt a mind game.
Because again, DBD is all about wasting the killer's time. And... Ooh, excuse me. There's a reason why most of the better killers are ones that can shut down things like this. Like, Nemesis is actually pretty good on this, if I recall, if I'm thinking of the right loop. Nemesis is actually pretty good at this loop, because there are certain ways that window you can actually hit them, reliably, as long as, you know, you're good and you can actually aim your damn whip.
In case you didn't know, there's a variation to the first jungle gym. But this one's a little easier to manage.
Now this one, I used to do it a lot early on, and for some reason I just randomly forgot.
The window is attached to a long wall instead of a narrow
so basically this one,
there's a right way and a wrong way
just
to run
vault the window. You don't even need perks, just vault the fucking window. Because if you don't vault it, you're getting a lot of room. And I think my problem isn't necessarily I don't remember these facts. I think it's more so that I don't identify the loop that I'm at, like in certainty, like, okay, well, it's this loop, that's gonna be there, that's gonna be there.
Instead, vaulting after the survivor is your best.
Which is also good as survivor too, because you know where the pallet is and you don't need Windows opportunity as much.
Install them into your vault.
Because I would like a survivor to have to rely a little less on Windows opportunity, but I'm not going to worry about that until I get good at looping killers with Windows opportunity. I'm not taking it off.
Wall, short wall prop. These tiles are mostly used for stalling, as there's practically nothing other than a pallet and means of safety. Break the pallet and hold W on this one. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah, it's not a loop where you just chase them and hope they don't waste your time. It's not necessary to show the whole thing. There's nothing here to show. There's no safety. You just chase them.
All right. I think we're all.
This I already know. I'm gonna skip Cal. Cal's pretty obvious. Certain killers make Cal tree completely pointless. Like, it does absolutely nothing. Like, if you're plague and they're not already infected. Nemesis makes it almost point, because the thing with Nemesis, and I know I talk about Nemesis all the time, he was my prior main. Nemesis, the thing with him is that people keep saying, oh, well, you can duck to dodge his whip around corners or under low obstacles. Yes, but only if you are right up against that wall and he is not right up against the wall. Because if Nemesis is right against that low wall, like, let's go back here. Like, say she's on this side. If I'm right up against this wall and she's right up against that wall, because you have to in order to do the ducking technique, I'm going to hit you. It's not 100% reliable. Now, good survivors will do it right, but what good Nemesis players will do, mainly if they're tier 3, it's not as easy at tier 2, but when you're tier 3, it's easier because you go faster when you have your whip out, is if you know there's a survivor that keeps crouching a lot, you just pull your whip out and you just walk at them. You don't actually swing it, because what they'll do is they'll just keep crouching over and over again, and it'll slow them down, and you'll eventually just catch up naturally, and they just can't do anything about it.
Short, run the survivor counterclockwise until the window blocks.
But no, you're doing it so they
pallet
don't get the
drops.
fast fold. So it at least it quickens the loop and that sort of thing. All right, let's move on here.
Depending on the spawn, the window can be on the outside or within the inner walls. Aside from one long wall, this loop is relatively simple. When starting a chase, imagine like you're standing at the end caps of a grocery store aisle. Step on the ends of the walls to keep visual on the survivor and funnel them into the pallet. This pallet is very unsafe, and that's good for you. The majority of variations of this tile have a half wall next to the pallet.
The other thing to note about a lot of these loops in DBD, good or bad tile, the big factor about a lot of these tiles is what tiles are around them. Like, there are some Killer Shack tiles, like, for example, there are some Killer Shacks, like, there's always a guaranteed Killer Shack, but the window, but the direction the Killer Shack's facing will vary. It'll be random. And that matters a lot, because you can have a Killer Shack where the window faces towards a dead end. And that's a lot more brutal for a survivor. Or you can have a Killer Shack where the pallet is also facing a dead end, which hurts survivors a lot. Or vice versa. It depends. Typically, the way you want to push survivors into the Killer Shack, you want the pallet to be on the side facing out, because you want to go in through the pallet side as a killer. But a lot of these do matter, because, again, back to Killer Shack example. If you have to get to dead end, it's still Killer Shack, it's still going to waste your fucking time. But you're going to have a... But when you do knock that down, the Killer Shack is way less useful. Basically, if a survivor goes there and the pallet's down and the window's facing a shitty area, it's almost useless. Like, the survivor's almost guaranteed to go down for the most part. Caveats here and there. If the window's facing outwards, and especially if there's a really good, like, windows or pallets outside there, then Killer Shack's a fucking nightmare, to the point where if I recognize that, I won't even bother chasing them with Killer. I don't care what it is. Unless I absolutely need them, I won't even chase them. Because they're just, even if I do get the pallet, they're going to be leading me on for hours on end, and I just wasted time.
This forces the survivor to take a 50-50 whether you're going to push the corner or double.
But this
back
one,
to the
yeah, no,
front.
that's pretty obvious. The pallet's down, you don't even have to necessarily break the pallet on these kind of things, because if they ever take it, you can do this. However, I am on the philosophy that unless you are a killer that wants pallets, like Dracula, because you can teleport the pallets. Unless you're a killer that really wants pallets, or you're saving it for something like Spirit Fury, like, okay, I'm going to keep it down so I can come back with Spirit Fury and get some stacks, right? Unless that's what you're doing, my philosophy is, once you're not chasing or anything, always break as many pallets as you can. The reason being is because there are so many instances in the in-game where I am chasing somebody, and that one pallet that I thought was not a big deal early on, because, you know, it's like this one, it's unsafe. You can get the survivor here whether it's down or not. That one pallet that I thought was safe to leave down, well, because it's in-game, they get to abuse it. And, like, you know, they'll go over it, somebody will be able to get, and then somebody can, you know, get between them and do the choo-choo train towards the exit gate, and I'm screwed. So I'm of the philosophy that unless you absolutely need that pallet and you're not doing anything else important, and it's nearby. Like, you're not going out of your way to break a useless pallet at the corner of the map. You're not doing that. But, like, if it's in the middle of the map and you're passing by it, break the fucking pallet. Same for most walls, although there's some walls I really don't like to break. Ghosty! It's a ghosty. Ooh, I burped. Excuse me. It's a ghosty. Come here. Get your bops. Get your bops. Come here. Get your bops. How are you, ghosty? How are we today? Do I get extra bops? It's a... I actually remember seeing your thing about your birthday, and I didn't see it. Happy birthday, Ghosty! Hold on, we gotta do a thing. Give me 1 second. I did not pull my chat out proper. Hold on, give me one second. Pop out chat. And do this real quick. Happy birthday to Ghosty. Happy birthday to Ghosty. Happy birthday to Ghosty Goo. Happy birthday to Ghost. You got extra bops. You got extra bops, Ghosty. I hope you're having a good birthday. I wonder if you're doing anything today, Ghosty. There, you got all your bops. But no, today, Ghosty, we're looking through some tutorial videos, basically to refresh. A lot of things I'm learning, I'm going back to the fundamentals to just refresh my knowledge and actually properly apply them. In this case, DBD. A lot of this actually didn't refresh too much. Actually, we kind of skipped ahead. Meat tree, long walls, and right here. Oh, yeah, fucking... buses. I hate buses. I half the time I just don't know what to do with them, and I just chase to break the fucking pallet and be done with it.
The variation we'll be going over has a pallet in the front and a window towards the back. Your best pathing is clockwise, and just like the cow tree has minimal means mind gaming. This bus is designed to eat your time, so minimize that as much as possible.
Although, question, what if you go counterclockwise on this one? Like, if the pallet's in here, then, okay, I can understand not going counterclockwise as much, but if it's the pallets over here, why can't you go counterclockwise? If I go counterclockwise, they're gonna get that window. Well, no, yeah, you can't, because they can change direction on you because they have that window to give them time and they can choose which way to go. So yeah, okay, I can understand.
Forcing the survivor
but you could do it. It's just the survivor has control over the direction in the case of this loop
the rear window.
Because of the way the window is. It gives them enough time to pick basically whatever direction. Although, I'll say though, if you do come in from this side though, it's a lot less safer for survivor because no pallet. There's no pallet in that direction. It's 1 a.m. so I'm getting sleep soon since I'll be meeting up with my mom in 9 hours. Get you some sleep, Ghosty. Get you some sleepies. I don't want my Ghosty tired tomorrow for a fun day. Hope you have a good day. Happy birthday, Ghosty, dear. Have a happy birthday.
There's a window on the middle that connects both sides and a pretty good pallet on the inside.
I know that the logic of these is just follow survivor. Just follow it until the window blocks, the pallet breaks or whatever, and that's it. There's not much else to it aside from like a minor mind game you could potentially do, but it's a bit risky. Killer Shot, I already know Killer Shot. I don't have to watch that. We can just skip this. The rest I'm already aware of. I wish there was a video for like main buildings, because there's a lot of main buildings that are fucking pain in the ass, and I would like more knowledge on them. Especially, what I would especially like is knowledge on which walls you should and should not break. Like, there's some I kind of have an intuition for. Like, in the map I really think needs a fucking change is, not Haddonfield, the preschool. Badham Preschool, that's what it is. Because they're the two walls that always spawn on the upper floor on the sides of the building, I hate them so fucking much. If the... what is it? If the basement is in the main building, which you want every single time on that map, it's fine. You don't have to worry about them. But if the basement is not in the main building, which for some reason RNGesus hates me and never spawns it in the fucking main building, I avoid the school like the fucking plague. Unless I absolutely have to go there. Because the school, even if the pallet's down, the school is still almost guaranteed to be a huge fucking time waster. And the other thing is that if there's no basement in main building, you are forced to break the side walls, and sometimes you have to break the one you definitely do not want to break. The one you definitely do not want to break is the side with the car. The reason being, because if you break that one, not only do they have access to the car loop, I mean, it's not like the best loop ever, but it's still a useful loop. They have access to the car loop, and they have access to the vault with the little fence, the white fence on the side, because as long as they have distance, that vault's fucking annoying, because they can get to just about anything from there. And the other thing is, if they have distance on you, it's very easy to lose chase on the little fence vault. It happens sometimes if you're like slowed down, especially if you're a slow killer like Huntress or something. Now you might think, oh, well, it's Huntress, I have range, it's fine. You don't get it. The reason why it's crazy is because it can actually potentially become an infinite loop. Not a literal infinite loop, but it can become an infinite loop. Because if chase resets, the window, then the window will stop counting towards blocking it. And so the survivor, if they know what they're doing, they can get more loops out of it than just 3. Which is why I don't like breaking that wall. I will avoid breaking that wall if I can. Like, I might be okay with doing it with range killers, but especially if I'm an M1 killer, and I don't have anything to counter it, I avoid breaking that wall if I can. And also generally breaking those walls just make that area a lot safer for survivor, because they can get out. Especially if the basement is in main building, because you definitely do not want to be, as a survivor, you definitely do not want to be in a school if the basement's in there. But if it's not in there, then you want to be in the school, because the best way to waste a killer's time is, if you know you're about to go down, try to go down in the basement in the middle. And it's going to take, especially if the killer has not broken the wall. If the killer did not break the walls yet, they have to go break them, because odds are, if they don't break them, especially if you have boil over, it's 100% if you have boil over. If they don't break them, there's a high chance that you're going to wiggle out, because they have to go up the stairs, they have to go around, and hope nobody's protecting you, by the way, because if somebody's there, there's pallets you almost just can't avoid. You have to go upstairs, try to avoid the pallets if you can, if hopefully nobody's there, and then you got to go through the middle and hook them, unless of course you broke the side walls. Then you have to go out there, which is fine, but it makes looping more as a killer there more annoying.
Is faking your
it's weird that I hate Batum Preschool because of the main building.
saying at the shack doors.
And it's not even like a huge building to loop either. It's just the fact that there's just no fucking hooks in the main building for some goddamn reason. It is the only main building off the top of my head that is not like reliably close enough to a hook in all of its spots. Like, for example, Dead Dog Saloon, the main building, the saloon, does not have any hooks in it. But even without basement, though, there's plenty of hooks around there. You can drop from the second floor, you're good. But it's Batum's basement that is a fucking nightmare, and God help you if they have boiled over and you fall through a hole, which is highly likely. I hate Batum so much, just because of the main building. I could do it anything else in Batum except for main building. I hate it.
Pallet side is always key.
Unless the basement, if the basement's in there, it's not as bad.
Point of entry, which is the window.
So it's like whenever I see Batum, I'm asking, all right, which one has a basement? Killer Shack or the fucking thing? All right, we can skip this. So let's brim through here. Most of these I'm pretty sure I'm going to know. Some of them I do know intuitively, but we're just going to do a refresher.
There are 30 common mistakes that new killers make and how to avoid them.
And then we're going to switch over to play DBD.
The last 5 tips on this list are the most crucial.
The most crucial, guys! Watch, like, favorite, and subscribe. Yes, we get it.
A lot of times when you get in chase with a survivor, your instinct is to just continue chasing them until you down them, but you have to understand after a certain amount of time of chasing them that you really need to just leave them and look for somebody else.
Yeah, that is a thing. I have that problem sometimes. I don't always fall for it, but I do have this problem sometimes. Where I'll just keep chasing somebody and keep chasing when I know for like my mind. Anybody who's seen me play DBD for a while knows this. I'll have moments I'll be rambling to myself, I shouldn't do this, and I'll do it anyway. Even I keep telling myself I shouldn't do it because my common sense, my instinct of just playing, my intuition of just playing this game for so long says you shouldn't do this because if you do this, if you do X, Y is going to happen when you should do Z so that A happens, you know.
If a survivor is leading you on a really good chase and you're not able to catch up to them, it'll be much more beneficial for you to leave them and go try to find another survivor that's out of position.
And it's especially true for survivor because in DBD, I know people like to act like babies and play all nice for a competitive video game. When I say competitive, I'm not saying like MLG, I mean like a PvP video game. I don't. I mean, unless they make me laugh or I feel sorry for them, then maybe I will, but that rarely happens. The thing is that in this game you have to tunnel. Like, I know survivors get all mad because like, oh no, the killer tunneled me. Woe is me. I'm baby. This is not fun. Nerf killers again. You know, you have millions of second chance things to do. So keep in mind, I'm a shitty survivor and I still don't bitch about that. But the thing is that as a killer, if you want to efficiently win, right, and you're not just going against babies all the time, you have to tunnel, or maybe not like tunnel like specifically one person, but bounce between 2 people, and you have to just keep bouncing between those 2 people. And if one person presents the opportunity to hard tunnel them, you have to. You basically have to, unless you're just God's gift on Earth on this game. You have to, because if you don't, what's going to happen is you're going to waste time in chases like this guy's talking about, really long chases, like. A lot of these long chases, unless you really, really fuck over gens with lots of gen regression, which they nerfed, by the way, these chases will get, at minimum, even the bad one, half a gen will be done by one survivor, let alone if multiple survivors are on different gens. And that's if it's a bad chase. If it's a good chase, like say it's the very beginning of the game, and let's even say you're efficient, right? So at the beginning of the game, the most efficient thing to do as a killer, assuming you have the information to do it, is to go to a gen that has 2 people, if they do. If they don't, then you just go to any gen that has a person on it. Don't chase the first person you see. Go to a gen that you, like, go to a gen, find somebody on the gen and chase them, so that way you chase them off. But the thing is that, if you take that chase, and they know how to loot properly, and so that's the beginning of the game, and they don't lure you to anywhere where the other survivors are, which is a saving grace for you as killer, you're losing 2 or 3 gens. Like, just hands down, you're losing 2 or 3 gens if they don't happen to lead you towards place. And if they do lead you to a place towards a generator, there's still other generators still going off. You have to tunnel. Just please stop crying about it. You have to tunnel as killer if you want to consistently get 3K. Consistently. I'm not talking just any random game against babies. I'm talking consistently.
The same chase for more than like 45 seconds to a minute, then you should try to leave that chase and chase somebody else. It's beneficial even if you don't necessarily know where somebody else is.
Yeah, but again, the problem also is that the person you're trying to tunnel out, though, there's a lot of situations for me where I'll see that person I'm trying to tunnel out, and I'll just keep chasing and chasing and chasing when I should probably break. Or I end up breaking from the person I need to tunnel out, and I'm like, shit, I wish I kept chasing them, because now I'm chasing this one guy who has no hooks on him, and he's looping me pretty good, and I just wasted my time. Even if I do down him and hook him.
The we're chasing now has to heal, or now has to go find a gen to work on, or something else. Prioritizing kicking gens instead of chasing a survivor.
Yeah, this is a thing I definitely do all the time. Don't do this. You could debate doing this if you have, like you have a pop, or you're trying to get eruption onto a gen. Like if you're setting up a perk, I can see otherwise to this tip. But no, this is definitely true. Now, granted, I think this is older. This might be. I don't know if the 5% initial kick was added, but let me see.
Constantly. So many killers will have the perfect opportunity to go get rid of a health state of a survivor or even down them, but instead they see a gen that's really far progressed and decide to go kick it instead. Kicking gens barely does anything for you. For 20 seconds of regression, it takes survivors only 5 seconds to make that back up, so you're much better off getting pressure by downing a survivor or getting them injured than saving just a couple seconds on a gen. Looping the outside of TL walls. There's a structure in the game called TL walls because it's literally a T and an L, and there's one window on each wall. For these structures, you never ever want to loop on the outside because it gives survivors enough time to go to the next window. If you loop on the inside, however, you're forcing the survivor into a 50-50 situation, which heavily increases your chances of downing them. Vaulting TL walls. This is like the #1 rule that you never ever want to do. Vaulting TLs is legitimately worse than looping on the outside of them because while you vault, you can't do any mind games, the survivors still have enough time to get to the next window, and you're completely locked in place so you can't see any information in like surrounding areas or anything. So do not vault TL walls. Trying to use your power when it would be better to M1. This is a mistake that even I still make on certain killers, and it's basically trying to use your ability too much.
I don't think I do this too much.
On, like,
there are instances where I'll do that on Nemesis. I mean, I'm pretty consistent when hitting on Nemesis for the most part, but like even if they're out in the open. But and it has happened to me a few times. I don't. How often do I really do that? Very often. I don't know if I do that too often. Like, I do it sometimes as Nemesis because the cooldown on your whip is slightly shorter than the cooldown on your M1. Then again, though, if they're wounded, there's no point because they're already wounded. You're going to down them. And there's also instances where I will use it as Nemesis to initially infect them because you want to get as many as Nemesis. You want to get as many initial infections as you can, unless absolutely necessary that you don't do it because. Getting rid of as many, it's on Nemesis. I say his best add-on, maybe not his #1 best, but like his definitely top 3 best. One of them is the one that actually removes one of the vaccines, because if you remove one of the vaccines and you infect everybody, that means one person will never be able to cure the infection, and you can always use your whip against them, and that's actually very useful to have.
because you're constantly
Or you get that one guy who just wastes all the vaccines. I mean, that's only baby survivors, but you know.
trying to throw your knives or constantly trying to use your insta-down chainsaw, because it feels almost like demoralizing in a sense to not use their ability.
The chainsaw, I can understand. I mean, as Bubba, I would definitely always use it. As long as they're healthy. If they're not healthy, don't ever use the chainsaw. There's no reason to. There may be like a few exceptions, because the chainsaw can help you catch up. There are some times where people's wounded and you'll use the chainsaw, but that's because you were trying to... because you know they're about to get to a pallet, and there's no way you can guarantee you're gonna be able to get to that pallet before they do. And so what you do is you ready up your chainsaw, so that way when you're gonna get a hit. Mainly as Bubba. This is Hillbilly. I definitely wouldn't do this because his chainsaw's not reliable. Unless you're a really good Hillbilly, then definitely. But with Bubba, you sometimes want to get it ready so that way if they drop the pallet, you break the pallet instantly. If they don't drop the pallet, you're going to down them. It's not insta down because they're already wounded anyway, but it is useful.
Into just M1, but trust me when I say it's sometimes better.
But there are plenty of fucking loops where you're like, all right, I'm not going to bother the chainsaw. I'm just going to hit you because you're going to get to a window or something before I get the chainsaw off.
Normally, than to spend like an additional 30 seconds to a minute trying to use your power to down them. So please do not be afraid to hit people normally. Bringing perks that are good, but are less good on the killers you use. Obviously, you can bring whatever perk you want, but there's certain perks that synergize better with certain killers. For example, take the perk Save the Best for Last. Save the Best for Last is a token-based perk, so every time you perform an M1 basic attack on a survivor that's not the obsession, you gain a token up to 8 tokens, and each token increases the cooldown after hitting a survivor by 5%. So once you have 8 stacks, your cooldown is so fast. But if you perform a basic attack on the obsession, then you lose 2 stacks. So yes, this is really good on pretty much any killer, but it's way better on killers that have easy to use M2.
By the way, this isn't true anymore. They changed this. Save the Best for Last.
With his shred,
I personally find it a little annoying though, because there's some killers, They changed Save the Best for Last to where you now lose stacks even if you use your special ability. I don't like that personally, because most of the characters that had Save the Best for Last weren't even like top tier. Like it wasn't like Nurse or Blight, because they used their power. It was mainly, you know, like Nemesis, Demogorgon, who everybody universally considers like one of the most balanced killers in the game. Like Nemesis, Demogorgon. I can't think. Are there any other like crazy? I can't think of any that were like crazy using Save the Best for Last. But, and especially because M1, I mean, well, it doesn't affect M1 kills regardless, so they wouldn't worry about it. I don't know, I find it kind of dumb. I think, yeah, that's just me.
With her ambush. So just try to think about the pros and cons of each perk for the specific killer that you're using. If you're enjoying this video and want to support me so I can make better content,
like, favorite, subscribe, move.
The tip is literally so simple. Don't just play this game completely mindlessly and just hold W and click M1 every once in a while.
Yeah, that's my problem.
Try to think through what the other person can possibly do and how you can mind game them to trick them into doing something. Then you're likely not going to win unless the survivors are kind of bad. And I've started to notice that even high-skilled killers are going on autopilot just because they've been playing the game for so long.
Yeah, this is why I'm here. This is my problem. You go on autopilot and you don't think about the actual chase itself. Like, you don't think, okay, well, or as a killer, you don't remember, like, hey, all right, I got a loop here, loop there, loop there. I know what loop it is. I should lead them. I should push them towards that loop. Hey, this section of the map is a dead zone because I broke off the pallets. Maybe I should push the survivors to there. Hey, here's my 3-gen. I want to make this 3-gen a dead zone by chasing people into this, and then I'm just going to push everybody to it, and I'll have a pretty solid late game. Like, just stuff like that you should be thinking, like, effectively at the very beginning of the game, as killer, for example. This is a 3-gen situation, but it applies to what he's talking about, if actually thinking about the game. As soon as you start the game, you need to identify where your 3-gen is. And ideally, you want to, if possible, you can't always do this, especially on big maps, you want to push the survivors into your 3-gen. But that's a whole other thing. That's a macro. That's a macro game.
The actual strategy of the game. Does that make sense? And this goes hand
in
hand with
okay. In Dead by Daylight, I say there's 3 tiers of you know, like you got your micro game, macro game, but I think there's a middle game as well. The small game is the chase itself. We're not talking about the big thoughts about the chase, but like, you know, I follow you, I hit you with M1, I push you that way, blah blah blah. The medium game is what he's talking about is planning exactly where you're going to push them and chase, exactly how you're going to do the loops, and remembering, hey, this place is empty, I should push them towards that, and blah, blah, blah. And then the high macro game is, you know, I know which gens I want to keep protected for late game. I'm making sure I pogo stick between these 2 survivors. I'm making sure I just big game planning things, right? They're all
Next
important.
tip, which is not switching up your mind games. When I'm on autopilot, I fall into this trap a lot as well. If you come up to the same structure and do the same exact mind game on the same exact survivor, the survivor's obviously going to expect it. Like, for example, if you're on a TL wall and you loop them through the inside, so it puts them in the 50-50 situation, and then you show your red stain to make them think that you're coming, and then moonwalk back to hit them after they vault. If you do that again on the same survivor, they're obviously going to expect you to do that. So try to keep track of the mind games that you do on each specific survivor.
Yeah, see, that's another like macro game thing to track.
Remembering the survivor's exhaustion perks. This is something that kind of just takes time and experience.
Okay, I get fucked over so hard by Dead Hard because I, for some reason, just don't expect people to really run it anymore. Like, I get fucked over by it so goddamn hard. Like, because early on with Dead Hard, when it was absolutely broken, you get, as a killer, you have to get the habit where you do the thing where you just, like, look up every time before you're about to hit them to try to bait it out, and then you wait, and then it's just you basically whacking each other off while you try to bait the Dead Hard out. Because it was fucking broken. You should still do that. Like unless you know, like, you should still do that. You should at least do that after the first hook of a survivor, right? You should still do that as a killer. And I stopped doing it because I don't see it as much, but you should always do that. You should always, as killer, presume the survivor, unless it's obvious perks that you can tell right out the get-go. Always presume they have every perk. Which is crazy to think about, but always presume they have every perk in the game. Just always presume it. The only thing you can say is maybe boons, because, you can hear a boon when it goes off, so then, as soon as you hear a boon go off, you're like, okay, well, now I have to presume all the boons are in play. But, always presume they have every perk until you can confirm that they don't have it.
Always want to keep in mind which exhaustion perks every single survivor has, or if they even have...
Like, especially with, like, the most popular one I've been seeing nowadays is the vaulting one with is it Urban Invade? I don't know what the fuck it's called. Life? I think it's Lithe. I've been seeing that a lot more often lately, and I think it's Lithe, the one where you vault and then you go faster. I've been seeing that a lot more often lately, and I won't take a mental note like, hey, that person has the perk. I almost never do that for some reason.
This is mostly important for Dead Hard so you don't accidentally hit them while they Dead Hard, but take exhaustion perks like Smash It, for example, which gives survivors a speed burst after they stun you. Obviously, if you know that they have this perk, you don't want to get stunned as much as possible. So just really try to figure out what exhaustion perks they have early and memorize them for the mid game and late game. Not keeping track of non-exhaustion perks. This is much more difficult.
I mean, same
you can
rule.
really take advantage of it for certain perks. For example, if you know that a survivor is using self-care, and every time you injure them, you see them go to the corner and heal themselves, that is a perk that you're going to want to take advantage of. So if you ever get in a chase with this person, hit them and then just leave, because you know for a fact that they're going to spend the length of a GTA loading screen healing themselves. So it'll basically mean that you're playing a 3v1 for a majority of the match. And then of course there's other perks that you want to be aware of, which just come with time and experience, such as Soul Guard or For the People, Borrow Time, or any boon perks. Just always have room in your brain for the perks.
Yeah, I just had a point though, like, yeah, like assuming they, like, I've had moments. One really obvious one I had on stream was I was playing against really good. Well, I was doing a very, very bad gimmicky trapper build that just didn't work. It was totem trapper, and all my totems were in shitty spots, and the survivors knew to fuck with me to prevent me from protecting them. But I had a really strong chance to turn that fucking game around. But I got greedy, and because I downed 3 of the 4 survivors, and the last one was wounded. I got greedy chasing the other one, and in my head sitting like, they probably have Unbreakable. They probably have Unbreakable. These people know what they're doing. Somebody has Unbreakable. Go back, let the person go. Just go back, hook them, and then down the other person. They didn't have Unbreakable, but they did have Exponential, and I didn't notice that I wasn't paying attention, and they triggered the boon. If I found that boon, I could have easily went back and just hooked everybody safely. Or even if I killed the boon, I could just go chase the person. Because I've had Exponential screw me over in games several times because I just don't expect it. Like, oh, it's a boon. It's probably something I don't care about. Now, always expect Exponential if they have a boon, because you never know until you see it.
To make a mistake.
Just stuff like that. Just always presume they have every single perk on at any time until you can confirm otherwise.
Not keeping track of the survivor's skill level.
That is a really fucking huge. There are so many games I've turned around because I have somebody who's like, God damn, this dude's really good at looping. Shit. And I keep chasing them. But then the second I turn around, if this is definitely a baby survivor, I'm going to just hard tunnel them and turn the entire game around. This one I already know. It's very important to tell who's a good survivor and who isn't.
The strong link and the weak link.
Like, it's also probably, I'm going to be honest, like, this is probably why when I play Survivor, I get tunneled pretty easily. Not just because I just get found easily, but also because, like, after the first chase, it's very obvious I'm a baby survivor. So everybody tends to come after me and tunnel me out over anybody else.
The 4 survivors, you can really take advantage of that. In general, you want to avoid chasing the stronger survivors and try to focus on chasing the weaker.
But of course, this doesn't always apply, especially if it's a team that actually, like, even if they're baby survivors, if they actually use proper teamwork, this doesn't always apply. And if they're all pretty good, this doesn't apply. Although there are plenty of times where I see survivors being hyper altruistic. I've had so many games completely 180 because survivors are being super altruistic.
Survivors, and doing gens is the most skill-less thing possible, so any skill level of survivor can do this, which means that while the good survivor is leading you on a good chase, the weak survivors can still...
Oh, that's also another thing I took to heart, like, throughout me playing DBD. If it's the beginning of the game, or maybe not even the game, even later, if it's the beginning of the game and you see that one survivor clicky flashlight doing the butt dance at you out in the open and not doing anything else, ignore them. Fucking ignore them, because all they're doing is wasting time. Okay, either A, they're an idiot and they're wasting their time, or B, they're actually really fucking good and they want you to chase them so they can waste your fucking time and actually win the game. Either way, it is almost never a good idea to just chase the first person just standing like, oh, look at me, killer, I'm an innocent survivor out here, oh no, whatever if I got chased. No, don't chase them. It's fucking dumb. Only if you absolutely have to, like, you absolutely have to chase them for some reason, because that does happen sometimes, okay, fine. But generally speaking, if you see the person doing that and they're not like an obsession you have to target or something, don't chase them. Don't do it. You're wasting your time.
The game really quickly. However, if you're chasing the weaker survivors, the strong survivors are going to be doing gens, yes, but that's no different than the weaker survivors doing gens. However, if you're chasing a weaker survivor, you're going to be able to down them much quicker than you would with the strong survivor, which will ultimately snowball your pressure in the long run. Speaking of snowballing, slugging incorrectly. I cannot tell you how many times I see people slug correctly. My personal rule is that you should avoid slugging at all costs unless you know that you can build pressure in 15 to 20 seconds. A situation where you would want to slug, for example, is if the survivors are all grouped up in an area like the corner of the map.
Oh yeah, I win so many games because they all just group up as where I down somebody for some reason.
Down survivors quickly in this area. Being able to slug properly is a very, very difficult thing to teach because there's an infinite amount of situations that you could be in.
Yeah, it is weird like that.
You should actually slug and when you should not while you're in the game, and try to learn from the outcome of each attempted slug to see whether or not you should do that in the future. Respecting pallets. This is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, this is
a lot of killers doing anything in their power to...
Yeah, this is definitely something. So, like, sure, there are instances where you don't want to get stunned, but like, there are so many games I lose because I respect the pallet, they get an extra loop on me, and a gen gets stunned because of it. Like, there's a lot of instances, especially, okay, like, for example, they're looping here, let me see.
Stunned by a pallet, being stunned...
Okay, so this one here, right? So, now again, unless you absolutely, for some reason, cannot afford to get stunned, that does happen every now and then. But, this here, like, if it's like, say, beginning of the game, you're just chasing somebody first time, you get stunned as pallet, what happens? They get distance, but you just walk around. There can be instances where, like, it's a law. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter if you break the pallet, you can just go through it, but there's a lot of survivors who, what they will do is they'll test if you respect pallets, and you're better off seeing if they respect pallets or not first, or having them do the pallet check on you first, than hoping that they don't do the pallet check and you respect the pallet. Because also what you can do is because a lot of survivors they'll do is if they check if you respect the pallet or not, they'll say, oh, well, the first time he didn't respect it, so I'm just going to slam it down immediately because he's not going to do it. Then you can start being like, all right, I'm going to back up so you don't stun me. You didn't stun me. Fuck you. I'm going to break it, or I'm going to go around and get a free hit. Really, so don't ever respect the first pallets as killer. Don't ever respect the first pallets.
Of you doing this, and we'll get another loop in.
And mind you, this is for each survivor, unless they're in comms. It's a little different if they're on comms. Sometimes they do call it, oh, hey, didn't respect the pallet. So that does happen sometimes in comms, but generally speaking, for every survivor, do not respect the first pallet. For each individual survivor, do not respect the first pallet.
Not throw the pallet. So in general, try not to respect
it's not a good idea.
And just walk through them as though there's no pallet there. Mind gaming on loops that survivors can see over. There are certain loops in the game where your head will stick over them.
Yeah, the other thing is if you're a tall killer, this is a problem too. Like Pyramid Head, he has a little poke thing that pokes out, and it gets a little, like...
Try to keep that in the back of your mind.
There's some loops that you could mind game as regular killers, but you just can't because of Pyramid Head. Or the opposite, there's Sadako. Sadako, you can mind game
ability
some pallets you
is
normally
and
can't
what
because
it
he's
can
so
do,
short.
and then take
Or,
full
I mean,
advantage
especially
of it.
Chucky.
For example,
Well, Chucky's a little
power
different.
is really good for grouped up survivors. So if you see
But, you
grouped
know.
up survivors, even if they're injured, still use your power because it adds a lot of slowdown, and then you could just chase the last survivor that you see. For Blight, you can go at insane speed, so it's obviously much easier to get to places quicker, which pairs really well with information perks like Tinker or Barbecue, or gen slowdown perks like Ruin, Call of Brine, Eruption, etc. I know that may be common sense, but a lot of people do not know this. Starting with hard to learn killers. There are certain killers that are way more straightforward to use and way easier to pick up on
I
than
think
other
this
killers,
one's a little
such
more
as Wraith or
nuanced. I can understand what he's about to say here. He's going to say for baby survivors, they should pick easy killers, or sorry, baby killers. They should pick easy killers first, so they don't have to look about a lot of complications. I'm just going to tell you, aside from like Nurse and Blight, like the really complicated ones, right? There's a lot of killers they consider as beginner killers that I would consider almost beginner killers. Nemesis, I would almost, like, if you got a new player, right, and you just tell somebody like 3 points of the most basic things of Nemesis, for example, you could be a baby and play him. I mean, you'll need the muscle memory to get good with the whip, sure, but that's anything. That's literally any killer. But I can understand it, though. Like, yeah, I definitely, if somebody's new, I would recommend something like Wraith or Myers or something.
And there are some killers that are so difficult to use unless you really understand Dead by Daylight, like Nurse or Blight or Billy, that you're generally going to want to avoid until you get better at playing the regular killers. Odstarva made a really good guide on which killers you should play first, and I'll link that in the description below. Not waiting for Dead Hard. This is
yeah, that's my problem. Now, mind you, this is back when Dead Hard was fucking broken.
A second or two before
but
so you can bait out their Dead Hard.
It's still true today, even if it's not as common.
If a survivor's trying to 360 you, you can literally just stop what you're doing, don't move, and
yeah,
then
this
in front of
I don't
you,
fall
bang
for this
swing.
as much.
If you try to swing at a 360
I don't fall for this as much, but it does happen every now and then, though.
And it's going to be really embarrassing, so don't do that. Looping pallets the wrong way. If there's ever a regular pallet loop, you always want to loop the survivor in a direction that'll put them in the worst spot possible when they throw the pallet. For example, if there's a pallet loop on the edge of the map, chase them so that once they throw the pallet, they are on the side closest to the edge of the map, so that when you kick the pallet, they're
I do that sometimes where I don't pay attention to what direction I'm pushing them.
And this goes hand in hand with my next tip, which is breaking pallets in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
This is
that's
just if you're looping the survivor around.
I don't think I do that. I might do that a little bit, but
to break that pallet, don't break it if you're on the side of the edge of the map. Break it in a way to where they lose the most amount of distance possible.
But yeah, I mean, that is a simple one though, because that's just a very simple rule you can apply because you don't have to think too much about it.
Closest to the edge of the map.
So that is a very simple
time
fix.
To make it to another loop. But if you break it on the side where you're closer to the center of the map, then the survivor barely gains any distance. Breaking the wrong breakable doors.
Yeah, that's the thing is, the other problem with this one is you don't always know which doors you should break.
Breakable doors that you don't want to break because it's either a waste of your time or it'll open up extremely good loops for survivor. Like there's a door on the top story of the Dead Dog Saloon that you almost never want to break because it opens up basically an infinite loop for the survivor. And there's also other doors on Red.
And also on Dead Dog, there's basically 2 doors you always, like, at the very beginning of the map, unless you absolutely have to go out of your way to get it, there are 2 doors you want to break as soon as you start. And it's the one next to that window. Now, the other one's not as important, but there's one next to the gin you also want to break. Because it gives you... Because if you break the one next to the gin and they don't have the... what's it called? Is it Urban Invasion? Whatever one where they get the speed when they fall from a height. As long as they don't have that perk, if you break the one next to the upstairs, both the walls next to the window, they don't get the advantage of it.
Wretched shop where it literally creates a dead end for the survivor, so there's no point in breaking that door or else they have an escape route. So please,
yeah, that's one. I don't really get to that one very much, but I do need to note that.
Boon totems in chase. I see this so often. If there's a boon totem and you're chasing a survivor, finish this.
One catch to this. There's one that removes scratch marks, and if you don't get rid of it, it's gonna be the survivor's very easily gonna be able to get away from you. That's the only exception I give. I will give an exception for that one. I think it's Shadow Step, I think. Might be that one.
Gain a lot of distance on you. Not recognizing infinites. I hate to say it, but there are some loops on some maps against some killers that are basically infinites and you'll never be able to catch up to the survivor. So if you can recognize these loops before you actually chase a survivor there, then you know which areas to avoid as much as possible. If a survivor runs to that loop, you can just ignore them and not chase them because it'll be a waste of time. Not body blocking.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do with the fucking killer shack. Sometimes I'll sometimes chase them, but there'll be other times where they'll go there and I'm like, I could be doing better things in my time.
Or pallets. Just use your body to block pallets or windows if a survivor makes a mistake. Simple as that, it'll just stop their brain from working and you'll get a free down. Patrolling gens that are hard to get to begin with. A lot of times when I'm playing killer,
yeah, that is a pain in the ass. This is also why on Dead Dog, I recommend people save the second floor gen. Unless absolutely necessary, or you're breaking, or you're, that's the last thing you gotta do to break a 3 gen. I highly recommend saving, as a survivor, saving this gen up here. Unless, there's an exception, unless it's a killer that can get up there quickly, like Dracula, Nurse, and anybody who can go up in elevation quickly. Besides them, if it's any other killer, you save this Jin for last. Because the killer, in most cases, just can't do much to defend that.
For example,
unless, of course, like, you know, a lot of the resources around it are gone and you can't safely use it. Then, okay, I can understand that. But generally speaking, though, you want to, as Survivor, save that one for last on the second floor, and if you'll see it, I don't think you'll see it here. There's a Jin that's always on the gallows to his right. That is #1 priority on this map, is to get that. Unless you have the perk. Because as a killer, my priority is protect that one, because unless you have the perk, that Jin is extremely unsafe. Because there is a window, but generally speaking, you can go around it easily as a killer. There's just no safety up there without the perk. So on Dead Dog, unless it's a killer that can get to high elevations quickly, you always save the second story Jin, and you always, unless you have like a perk or something, unless there are exceptions, unless something comes up with an exception, but you always finish the second story Jin last, and you always do the Gallo Jins first if you can. Now, sure, a killer can hard patrol them and protect them, but generally speaking, that's what you want to do.
Or you have to go in.
Are we still online? Am I there? We just went offline for a second. Hello? Anybody? We still good? I presume we're still good. It says we're streaming. That was weird. Alright, we're gonna continue.
Inside the Dead Dog Saloon.
Actually, I'm an idiot. Hold on. Let me just check here. Yes, I'm still alive. Okay, that was weird. That was a weird flicker there.
Up the stairs and all the way around that wall before you can get up there. It takes like at least 10 to 20 seconds, and it's a complete waste of your time. So literally just ignore that gen and focus on the gens that are really easy to get.
Unless there's a person you want to tunnel out of the game, then you go up there.
The annoying gen to apply pressure to other people. Okay, we're on the 5 most important mistakes to fix. If you made it this far, go drop a like and put an animal.
Like, favorite, subscribe, guys.
Below. Using Lightborn, Noed, and Franklin's as crutch perks. Now hear me out. I'm not a Survivor main telling you to not use these perks because I don't like them.
I actually do agree with this a lot, actually.
And I think these perks really slow down your ability to get better at killing. Take Lightborn, for example. Lightborn is not only detrimental to yourself, but it also doesn't force you to learn how to counter flashlights, which are some of the easiest things to counter in the game. If you rely on getting kills with Noed, then you're not really improving at the early game and the mid game. And if you can't handle items, so you bring Franklin's, you're not going to get better.
I would add to, he's probably going to talk about it here soon. I would add to this hard gen regression perks like Pop and Pain Res. If you're trying to win, I highly recommend them on most killers. Well, Pain Res is always good, but Pop I wouldn't do Pop on everybody, although there's a lot of killers where it's fine on. But generally speaking, though, I would actually recommend not doing like you do things like, you know, like you do Jolt or Eruption and stuff. They aren't too bad, but I wouldn't do like Pop and Pain Res if you're learning, because they are seriously, they are crutches. And sure, if you're going crazy and you want to win, yeah, use them, but don't use them, because if you rely on gen regression too much, you're not really going to learn how to become more efficient.
Constantly applying pressure. So just try to not use these perks.
That's why I mostly, I mean, I do use them, but then there's other times where I just avoid them.
Much as possible, and I assure you that you will get better at killer much quicker. Camping and tunneling. This is a huge mistake.
All right, I'm going to tell you right now, go fuck yourself on this one, but we'll get back to this.
It's one of the easiest things to do.
What? Anyways, where was I?
For one, if you're camping and tunneling, you're not really learning how to get better at the game in general.
Bullshit. I call complete. Well, okay, caveat here. If he's talking about hard tunneling, sure. But if he's talking about, like, keeping track of hook states and bouncing between 2 survivors, that is mandatory. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Like, that is something that even higher level, like, killers and shit just cannot agree on. And considering that it's effective at the higher level and lower levels, no, bullshit. You tunnel.
But 2.
Maybe not hard tunnel. What I mean by hard tunnel is where you're ignoring gens. Like, you're ignoring gens. You're not going after gens. You're just going. There's this one guy. You're gonna hook him, and you're gonna sit around that area and wait for him to get off, and then you're gonna go chase them and hook him again. Yeah, don't do that. But if you hook a guy and you go chase somebody else, and they get unhooked, and then you see that guy that you just hooked, especially if they're wounded, you're switching targets. I don't give a fuck. You're switching targets. You're going after that guy, especially if you know they're the baby survivor. It's gonna happen. So he might say the caveats. He might say the Now camping depends. Obviously you can't because they have the built-in deliverance nowadays. But you can still just sit outside the range. There are easy things to camp. One, if you directly, like as soon as you hook them, you see there's a survivor nearby, you're gonna camp because the deliverance isn't gonna trigger as much, and you're gonna be able to get some free hits if they keep sitting. Because that's one survivor not doing gyms, and if they fuck up, because if there's the guy hooked, and there's another guy there, they have to send a third person. Because that person's not getting them off the hook. They have to send a third person. As long as you're on them, they're not going to get them off the hook. At least not without going down themselves. Again, perks notwithstanding. They have to send a third person. If they don't, then what's going to happen is you're going to chase. That person's going to take hook progress, and that person's going down. And eventually, if one person hooked and taking time, and one person down, and now you have massive pressure if they don't do it. Now you could use a gen. Now there are exceptions, of course. You could be close to losing the last gen or stuff like that. Okay, maybe leave it. But if you hook somebody and there's a second person that you literally see right there standing there menacingly, you're not leaving that hook. I'm gonna tell you, you're not leaving it.
There are so many different things to mitigate these tactics as much as possible, especially in the recent updates that Behavior has been adding to this game. Such as
it's not enough to stop tunneling. No, it doesn't. It's not, especially among baby survivors. Especially
completely counters camping. A survivor can essentially pause the person on the hook. And
yeah. Who uses reassurance nowadays? Somebody tell me. Who the fuck uses reassurance at all? There's no reason to use it.
Give them an additional.
There's like few niche situations where you would even bother with it.
On the hook, which can also be stacked with other survivors' reassurance.
Also, tell me what's the meta when it's late, when it's like, you know, gates are powered and you have somebody hooked? Oh, yeah, camping.
So survivor can have an
because you have to. You have no other choice.
Per hook stage. So if you camp survivors and not apply pressure anywhere else, then the rest of the team is just going to rush gen, and then you might lose.
No, I do. I mean, this is even without the deliverance thing. Like even without the deliverance change, I do agree with this though. The problem with camping, especially back then, was I found it's more of an issue as survivors than as killer, because survivors, especially mainly for playing a Swift, a lot of survivors, what they don't understand, especially back then, it's not as much of a thing now because of the built-in deliverance, but especially back then, is if a killer is camping the hook, do gens. It's that simple. You do gens. Because by the time that person dies, now it might be harder if it's like a 5 gen, it might be a little harder, but if you have like 3 gens left, even 4 gens left, and everybody's on a gen as soon as they got hooked and the killer's just sitting there, that's 3 gens done. You have 3 people and you'll need to do 1 gen. That's totally doable. That is 100% doable if you only have 1 gen left. Let's continue.
Or you might just secure the kill.
There's a lot of shit I can ramble on this, but we'll move on.
But generally, in this day and age, camping is not worth it unless you're in an endgame situation.
Okay, he does mention.
If you're only going after one person to try to get them out of the game as fast as possible, this is still a really strong tactic if the survivor's not good. If the survivor...
Depends. Because keep in mind, if we're assuming that we're against good survivors, you're still going to pogo between them and tunneling. Because downing one person and hooking them, generally speaking, is not worth it. Or sorry, no, I mistake. If you're downing somebody who does not have a hook state, and you already have 2 other people who have hook states, downing them and hooking them is pointless. As a matter of fact, a lot of the time, when you down somebody who has no hooks, and you're still trying to find people who have hooks, you're better off just downing them and not even picking them up. Like, just leave them on the ground. Because the only benefit you have of people who don't really have any hook states is, because hooking them ain't really going to do too much, is to just throw their asses on the ground, and that's basically a hook state. That just counts as a hook state, because they're on the ground, they are not doing anything important, somebody has to go pick them up unless they have perks, but even if they do that, they have to waste really strong perks to do it. And, yeah, so... he's not wrong, but there's a lot of caveats.
Tunneling perks, and they have teammates who will body block for them, and they're really good at
teammates who body block them, even if it's like it doesn't matter, because by that logic, okay, so here's the logic. Oh well, if you tunnel somebody, and you tunnel them hard, they're going to start getting body blocks and stuff like that. Okay, what stopped them from doing it to anybody else in any other situation? You got to kill somebody. You have to kill somebody. Somebody has to die. Generally speaking, ideally, you want to kill somebody by 2 or 3 gens at the latest, ideally. I mean, there is situations where you can turn things around later, but a safe game, you want somebody dead by 2 or 3 gens. No, there's a lot of caveats that could heavily be argued here.
Chase, you're going to throw the entire match trying to get this person out. So try to not camp and not...
But he is correct that you should not hard tunnel in this way, though, because you need to worry about your gen pressure. Because, you know, if you do down one person, you hook them, and somebody unhooks them, they still have to heal them up. That takes... I wouldn't say it takes time, because a lot of people use perks, like what is it? We're Gonna Live Forever? Is that it? I don't remember what it's called. It's the one where when you unhook somebody, you heal them by 100, like twice as fast. Like that thing makes it to where the time it takes for you to heal somebody is nothing, and I use that perk a lot as Survivor. And the time you make them waste by unhooking and healing, having to heal, is barely anything.
Tunnel unless you're in a really specific situation where it would actually be beneficial for
okay, so he does give caveats here. My only complaint is he does not give the caveat of you're supposed to pogo to
if you're losing miserably or using a trap killer like Hack or Trapper, patrolling only 3 generators on the map that are extremely close to each other is your best option.
Yes, definitely check your 3 gens as soon as you spawn in and figure out which ones you're defending.
That are close to each other, then 2 gens that are close to each other, and another gen on the complete opposite side.
Yeah, because I mean, this is common sense. Everybody knows this, but just to do a recap of this, the reason why you do this is because it helps you turn around a game late game. Because if you don't do this and you get to late game and you just have no kills, it's gonna suck. Like, because there's literally nothing you can do late game as a killer to stop the survivors from finishing that last gen, especially if you don't have a kill. And but we'll get that going.
That you're doing really poorly in a match, make sure you find 3 generators that you can kind of stick to the area in and keep those up as much as possible. This is a really important one. Not watching content creators. Watching content creators will make you way better at killer because it'll show you so many little tiny things where you'll be like, oh,
like, favorite, subscriber, buddy.
Smart. Why don't
no,
I
he is right. You should, if you're trying to get better at the game, you should watch others. Here's a caveat though I'm going to give. Don't just blindly watch others. Actually have a, like, for example, I'm watching here because I want to see if I can apply them to the game. Here, we're about to play in just a minute because we're almost done with this video. But if you're just blindly watching them and there's no thought between your 2 ears, there's no point.
And there's
no point, because eventually watching them long enough, you're going to get like all the basics and the foundations settled. And once you settle that and apply them, there's not too much crazy you can learn from them beyond that. This isn't like fucking art, where you could watch like a variety of artists, see how many of them do their art, and just coalesce it into one thing. You can do it here, but a video game, and this isn't even just DVD, this is just games in general. Most video games only have so much that you can learn before watching others just doesn't teach you anything, unless they have something really unique, like that one guy who's just extremely autistic about Clown and has written like multiple essays about how good Clown is and all the good perks with him. By the way, that's an actual thing. There's a character Clown in this game, and there's a guy, I don't know what his username is, but he's written a full fucking like a Bible about the character Clown in DBD, and he's like the top clown and how to play Clown. And nobody's ever done that for any other character in this game that I'm aware of. And this guy makes Clown seem like the top character in the entire game. It's stupid. You need to look at it. It's fucking stupid.
Educational content
in a good way,
who will tell you why they're doing a certain thing in this certain moment, which can really help you get better at killer. And lastly, the most common mistake that pretty much everybody makes is getting frustrated with toxicity and throwing the game because.
All right, I don't think I need to call that. That's true for everybody. Tips: when you're Survivor, don't get mad when you get tunneled. That's just the game. Hate the game, not the player. Like, I know it's a killer thing. I got a rant. I say this before. I just got a rant. Like, sure, it's my killer main side coming out. I've had people on stream, like, and it's not even like tunneling either. Like, I played Nemesis once, and I had somebody get mad and come to my stream, salty as fuck, because I hooked him for the first fucking time in the game, at the end game, that I was losing, because I hooked him at the end game and nobody came to save him at the end game, and he got mad, called me camper tunneler, even though I was losing the game and I never killed anybody or even hooked him once the entire game, and he just flipped the fuck out. Like I get annoyed at games, don't get me wrong, like it's clear, but like, just don't. Like, I even try, as long as the survivor isn't salty. If they're salty, then it annoys the fuck out of me, but But it's also not salty. I try to restrain myself as much as possible because the survivors as well are playing the game. The only caveat, obviously, being like, I don't know if I have no idea if I've ever encountered a stream sniper or not. I have no idea, but because there's no way to really know. But I have encountered hackers like once or twice, and those are completely understandable. But the thing about hackers, though, is you actually don't want to give them the time of day. Because generally with hackers, the whole point of them is they want to, if they know you're streaming, they don't want to come onto your stream, or they want to come onto your stream and get, attention. If they're aware. I mean, granted, it's only if you're a big one. I haven't really had that happen to me yet. I just had general hackers, like people just play regular games and shit. Well, that's about it. So we're just gonna move on here. All right, so I'll be right back. I gotta use the bathroom real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and load up DBD while we wait, and I'll be right back, and we'll get everything started.
Bad positioning. That's a 4K against the bully squad.
We will also be doing a 10-minute break in the meantime as well, so we'll be right back.
Now here's the thing, even if I didn't have Lightborn, as long as I played smart, the bully squad really isn't a threat. Because what happens with these squads is they are so focused on bullying you that they don't do gins. Now they only did gins here because they realized, oh shit, he has Lightborn, we can't bully him, except for maybe a Sabo squad. What the, what? She has sins to her people!
Oh, Wizzo, Howie! Wizzo, no, you're falling behind!
Yeah, nope, bye.
The chef can finally come true. Right along the bell. What a tasty meal. The puppy. Oh, baby, smell of kitchen splash. Oh, and off again, then, puppy. Holy crap, I can kill Puppy. I can kill, yes. I can kill Puppy. I killed Puppy.
Thank you. I already had one. Why didn't I use it? I always forget I have those incendiaries for some reason. No, you're stupid. Screw you, Nugget, you're stupid. I am mortal smarts. See, look, I shoot him in the face as I miss 5 shots in a row and stare her in her loving eyes and as she strangles me. No, don't! You son of a bitch! Of course you did! Just get off there. Just go. Just go. You fucked.
Oh boy, I'm back to health. You fucked me back to health.
Indeed. Come here.
Little privacy, please. Oh, okay. Well,
I'm here for
together.
the poop show.
Come on, get on here.
Go ahead, get it going. I paid good money for this.
Bionics, get in there. Let me shut the door.
I paid good money for this.
Have fun. Well, that's a lap dance right there. Outhouse lap dance.
On the shitter. Volunteer for Ouija board. You all go deal with Ghost. I'll go deal with Ouija board.
Oh no. Wait. Where are you going with?
I'm going over here.
You don't want to be in the room where she's at?
I don't have to be. It's a Ouija board.
Alright.
Why would I have to be in the same room? I'm gonna break the Ouija board and make it hunt. We're looking for fingies? Do we just need fingies? I forgave you, Legion. You're good. Right, let's summon the ghost. Fuck you, ghost. We have to get away from here, though. I'm evil. Yes, my evil plan worked. Don't ever let the demon get the Ouija board.
Oh no. I don't know if I got an actual photo of it then. I did try.
Ah, my evil plans. If he because he's gonna come back if he knows what he's doing. He's gonna come back and he's gonna get me. So if I wasn't wounded, I'm gonna try to be funny. I do a dance. I do do a dance. Okay. Did I please my master daddy pyramid head? Yes. Yes. Oh. I must poke. Hold on, come here, I must poke you. Must touch the ass. Oh, come here. Hold on, stand still. Scab it. Okay. Well, fine, we'll go. I'm gonna beat my ass, daddy pyramid head. No. Ah, okay. Alright, Toodles. Fun little pyramid head. Yep, my wieners on you. You act like one of my wieners. There.
Someone come back.
I got you.
Someone. Please.
Well, there's nobody else here to really clip it right now. You'd have to do it yourself.
Oh my god, no. I don't have your stream open because it'll fuck my game frame.
No. Watch stream. You're all going on hook.
Oh no. It's on you.
Oh no.
Topaz there. Now Dark Flame.
Oh, you just making a hook pile,
Hook pile.
Hook pile.
Haha, I'm
Hook pile.
awkwardly
Oh, damn it,
shaking.
hold on. I have to get it all set up. I gotta lock myself in. Ghosty goes behind, that way you can see everybody. And now we get Dark Flame.
Look at
There
me
you
just peering. You're just
You're
like,
bobbing hooks.
hello there.
You're now hooked. Fable, are you entertained? Let me give Fable a shout out. Yeah, you can gobble like turkeys on the hook. Sword! Chat, we're gonna get it. This is the last one. We're gonna get a perfect run. We're gonna get a perfect run without me having to save scum. Up or down? Up or down? Up or down, chat? Are we having a perfect run? Up or down? Up. I see up. Down. Sydney, use your psychic powers. Up or down? It comes down to Sydney. Don't fail us, Sydney. Whatever sorry bastard you're dragging with you if you lose. More keys. Up or down, Sydney? Up or down? It's part of the minigame. Up. Let's see. Holy shit. Did we actually get a perfect... Holy shit, chat. We got a perfect run. And we got... Arrows. That's all we got. I don't know why you jumped that. Yes. She gets to live. She made me funny. She gets to live. This person there. Oh, cancel. Stop doing that. Go, Grandpa. Or go, Dad. Oh, hi. Beat him up. Execute. Oh, Windows, what are you doing? No, execute. Really? Okay. He just jumps out the window. Okay, first kill, he just jumps out the fucking window. Alright. I'll take it. I'm not in range of a checkmate anywhere. It's also good. Oh, God, no.
I forgot not to get that close to your grenade. Excuse me while I bash my head on my table. One moment. I can't. Oh shit! Oh crap! Ah, clip that. Okay, that's getting. Holy shit. Oh, neat. Okay. Power time. Nice. Okay, well, so apparently I didn't check my DVD and it is updating right now, and for some reason it's taking fucking forever to update, so we're just gonna chitty chatty. So anyways, so I've been looking at trying to figure out what kind of things I want to start doing. My problem is I've been very indecisive. It's quite annoying for me personally. I put together some art styles. I've been interested, well, I mentioned before, I've been interested in the Hellball art style, but also interested in Samurai Jack and old classic cartoons. You know, you got your Dexter's Lab, Ed and Eddie, Powerpuff Girls, just the old stuff like that. Johnny Bravo. I'm debating on going back to maybe drawing those characters in order to practice my art style again. Maybe doing a watch-along on a Discord, I'm not sure. But to be fair though, I do need to get my Discord a little more active. I don't really, like, I'm gonna be honest, I almost think there's not really any point. Give me 1 second, I'm getting booped. I almost think there's no point to having, me having a Discord server, to be honest, because I don't really do much there, and there's just not enough interaction. There really isn't. I mean, it's like it's only there for me to keep in touch with some online friends and such, and I'm gonna be honest, I almost think just deleting it, because I'd rather not have to maintain it. Because I don't do anything on my Discord server. Like, I have more interaction and talk on my Twitter than I do Discord. And obviously more interaction on Twitch itself as well. I get more, when I do stream a lot, I get more interaction on YouTube streaming than I do on my Discord server. That says a lot, because I don't have anything on my YouTube, which is interesting. But you know, I might just say fuck it, and we won't do DBD tonight. I might go ahead and just do art, and I think we'll do that. I think we'll just do art. Let's go ahead and switch over. We'll switch over to doing art tonight, because I do need my practice. So oh my fucking god. I really do need to, excuse me, I do need to rearrange things. It's been getting a little crowded here. But, so the thing with art is, well, DVD's about to be done updating, but I think I'm just gonna do art. It's not like anybody's here just for me to play DBD, or even just for art for that matter. But because I don't stream as much anymore. Alright. Oh, actually, I probably shouldn't say that on the stream, so never mind. Not a good idea. Let's see. Let's pull up Ace Bright. Give me 1 second to get set up here. Boop. I gotta switch my category around. I want to hit an ad real quick to push back pre-rolls. Bear with me, everybody. Let me see. Let's see, then I need to switch my category over. I switch my YouTube category over, and then we're good. Save. Alright, I think we are good there. Alright, so we're going to switch over to art. Yeah, no DBD tonight, because updates are a pain in the ass, so... Alright, so let's switch on over. Let me make sure it's all actually showing. It is showing, okay. Actually, hold on, I'm curious. Is there like a Cartoon Network lo-fi? I need to see this. Because I would love to listen to that while we do this, because it'll be very fitting. No, not fucking Steven Universe. No. It annoys the shit out of me that, like, all the lo-fi things here are, like... what do they call that art style, where everything's like a fucking bean? Like, I'm not saying there weren't any good ones back then, it's just most of them I just do not give a shit about. Man, because I just hate the art style. It's so bad. What the fuck? This is the weirdest fucking... Fuck this playlist. Is this it? No, that's... How about that? And give me 1 second, everybody, while I look around. No, I don't see any... Yeah, wait, oh. Is this it? Oh. Sure, good enough. You know, not fuck it. I'm gonna do this. Hopefully I don't get anything screwy on here. We're just gonna listen to Newgrounds music. Let's go to Newgrounds Radio. We'll turn that on. Let me see. Newgrounds Radio, because we'll get some stuff we've never heard before. I just had to keep an eye on it. Sometimes it gets a little weird. There we go. That's good. Turn that volume down a little bit. Alright, there we go. Alright, so... Got that. Got chat up. Alright. So we're gonna do some... We're just gonna draw Cartoon Network characters. We're gonna draw as many as we can. I'm gonna start with Dexter's Laboratory. Because I wouldn't mind learning these. The main show I would like to learn to do properly, in my own way, of course, would actually be Samurai Jack, because I love that art style, because it's very simple, actually. It's very... I've done Samurai Jack before. It's very simple, but it's effective. It's actually... You can actually do a serious, like, cartoon series with it. Obviously he's made Samurai Jack, which is a good... It's a great series. If you have not seen Samurai Jack, for the love of God, go see it. Alright, we gotta turn that down. Go see Samurai Jack if you have not. Like, you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not doing Samurai Jack. If you haven't seen Samurai Jack, go watch it. Like, even the newer... even the Adult Swim continuation that ended it. One caveat, though. The ending was kind of meh. But there's actually a Samurai Jack video game on Steam, and it is the canon ending, and it's a lot better. So I actually recommend watching the entire series and then playing that video game for the ending, and it's fine. Once you do that, it's fine. Because it actually gives a good conclusion. There's a problem with the final episode of the actual series. It was a bit rushed, so... But he fixed it in the video game, so go play the video game. It's actually not bad. Alright, so... Okay, so... Here's the thing. I don't just want to copy... Here, let me do something. I'm going to pull the picture up on here. But we're not going to trace or anything. I'm just showing it real quick. So... Well, we're going to trace to figure out the shapes, but we're not going to... This is not going to be the final image. So what we're going to do... Generally, what you want to do is you want to break down the shapes. Actually, I forget... What's the guy's name who made... He did Dexter's Lab and Samurai Jack. Name of creator of Samurai Jack. Gendy Tartakovsky. I'll call him Gendy. His name's Gendy. So Gendy, I was watching an interview with him, and he mentioned that, like, he was actually having a lot of trouble in art school, and he just couldn't get it. And what his art teacher taught him was you keep doing contour lines, like, okay, I'm gonna draw hands. I'm gonna do it like, oop, oop. I keep doing that. Don't do that. Now granted, this is cartoonish style. We're not gonna talk about that. I'm like, oh my god, hold on, my touch. I don't know why that's not off by default. Don't do that. Do this. Do, By the way, if the music's too loud, please let me know. Let me see. What? Anyways, this is Newgrounds Radio, by the way, everybody. I have no idea what's in this playlist, so bear with me. But anyways, instead do something like this. Obviously I'm not doing it perfectly, but something like that. Do the actual shapes, right? I'm not gonna lie, this music's actually pretty distracting. Let me turn it down like massively. I turn it up a little bit. I should hit next. Is there a way to hit next? No, there's not. It's just, yeah, it's just a general radio. I find it interesting that only 4 people, including ourselves, are actually listening to this. I wish there was a way I could have this Newground music on, but have it listing the artist at the same time, so I don't have to track it. Because it would be great. Because then people can actually find new artists and stuff like that. Because I like Newgrounds Radio for, like, you never know what you're going to get, because there's no specific genre. You get literally anything. And I sometimes find interesting music, and I even message them sometimes, say, hey, can I use your song for things? And I'll be like, sure, no, yay, maybe, whatever. And it's pretty interesting. Anyways, but no, what he was taught was everything, just do everything as a shape. Now, that is obvious as an artist, but the key is very important here. And I would add to that is, it's learning the shapes, but then learning how to modify those shapes. Now, in the case of Dexter, I'm gonna be honest, he's very square, obviously. I got your little square. I'm not gonna be... Actually, we'll use these. The one benefit about doing these cartoons is there's a lot of very simple lines. Let's make this a little thicker. So... obviously we got, like, his body's just rough, like a, you know, what would you call this? A cuboid, you would say. Now, of course, because it's animation, you're not going to go, like, hyper detail, but, like, you don't really have to go too detailed with it, but, you know, if you get here, you could break it down 3D, like, okay, there's a box there, and there's this flat head, you know. You got a box here, it'll probably, right where his jacket is probably cutting off to the side of the cube. Excuse me. But obviously we're not going too crazy with it, because you can do a lot of simple things too, like for his feet, just bam, bam, just curves, curves. That's actually it's in the middle right here. It's actually just mirrored, you know. I don't know, and then his arms are just very sharp lines. Now hands, I'm gonna be honest, these fingers make, even as a cartoon, these fingers make no sense to me. Not that they're bad, obviously, it's a great show, but they make no sense to me. This one makes sense. It's a curl in the hand, but this one's like... Hold on, let me see this, hold on. Well, that would be his pinky. His thumb wouldn't be coming out like that. Is that hand wrong? Hold on. Because if I'm holding my fist like that, the thumb's on the other side. Okay, I don't think it's... Okay, now that I look at it, I'm very confused by this hand. Like, okay, this here makes sense. This little curve here. It's like, okay, that's where the hand itself comes in, but... Is this the thumb? Or is that the thumb? Or is this supposed to be the palm somehow? Like, the only thing I can think of for that to make sense is it's the palm. But this really thick line confuses me, though, if that's the palm. Anyways, so what we need to do is we need to kind of dissect Dexter here to get an idea of what the thought process behind this character is. Let's get another reference image. Here's one. We'll use this is another good reference image. make sure I don't have everything confused here. Alright, and then let's see if we can find another... I need something that's more dynamic. Like, we have this one. A little bit more dynamic. And let me get maybe one more. Maybe one more. I can find one. Ooh, especially like the early Dexter. Let's see if we can find... It's kind of hard. Oh, here's a good one because there's different kind of Dexters. So... Not this. Obviously, it's a little too big for what I need to do with it, but obviously we're mainly focused on this Dexter, but these here are interesting to note, though. So far it's seeming that no matter what Dexter, I mean, they don't do exactly here, but no matter what Dexter we're using, it seems like he is just a curve of a head and then a box. Like, you have the curve of the chin and a box, and you have this little triangle on the bottom. And I'm not seeing much variety from that. There is a little bit of variety, like, here. Let me put this one up. Like, there's a little variety here where it has a bit more of a... Actually, I don't know if this is official or not. Is this official? Not sure if that's official. Or, like, an actual in-show image. I have no idea. But for the most part for the show, though, they seem to do... just curve on the front and then a box, effectively. A box of some shape, which varies, because here it seems a bit more elongated. And because the other benefit of doing things like this is you can exaggerate. That's a big thing with these kind of cartoons. It's not like rubber hose exaggeration, but you could go crazy with the exaggeration if you really wanted to. And again, the reason why I want to learn, not this, mainly Samurai Jack, but the reason why I reference all of them is, well, also I'm nostalgic for them, but nostalgia aside though, like, I personally, in my personal opinion for cartoons, I think these, not just Dexter's Lab, but all the other ones as well, are very good examples of just simple but effective characters. Now there is Hell of a Ball, let's pull some Hell of a Boss characters up. We'll do Luna, Luna's a popular one. We'll do Luna and Moxie, how about that? Or Blitzo. We'll just get one of each. So we got that, I'm gonna get Blitzo. Let's see, copy. New. And then Moxie. So, whether you care much for the show itself, like, that's fine, I don't give a shit. But I love the character designs. I'm going to tell you right now, the character designs of Hell of a Boss and the art style is what sells it. Like, if it was not for the art style, I would think it's slop. Like, I'll be honest, I would think Hell of a Boss is slop if it wasn't for the art style. That's literally the main thing that sells the damn show. Anyways, because I think the main thing that really sells it, with a lot of these characters. So if we go back to like these cartoons, right? Actually, let's not use let's do simpler ones. Not just Dexter. Let me delete some of these. Don't say no. I'm not saving these. Get rid of that one. We'll keep that one. Yeah, we're just gonna basically study around with the art. I will keep those. And then if we do copy image, and then we'll do Ed and Eddie. We'll throw them in here too. Ed and Eddie. Where are they? I prefer. Oh, here we go. Here's character designs. And then lastly, let's put in Samurai Jack. That's the one we are mainly looking for inspiration. This one's good. It's not an in show image, but it's still a good image for it. So go up here. Now, one thing I heavily, and again, this is why I like Hell of a Boss. It's literally just the art style. It's nothing but the fucking art style. Although Visipop does have a habit of making almost all their characters furries, but not that I have an issue with furries. Hi. But because some of the designs start seeming the same, although luckily she does vary it up enough. Because like even Moxie and them, at a certain head angle, they kind of seem like that sort of aesthetic. But no, they are pretty original. So compare it to like the original, because supposedly Lazy Pop was inspired by like late 90s, early 2000s shows like these, right? Maybe not necessarily Cartoon Network entirely. I would probably throw some Nickelodeon in there most likely. Actually, no, let me see. Let's actually hold on. Let's put in, since we're on that topic. Let's put in. That's not the new one, is it? Is that, or is it? Okay, that's the. I think that's the original. I think. Let's throw some. We gotta throw some invaders in. The thing that only lasted like what, 1 or 2 seasons, did not last long at all, but it was actually pretty. Actually, really liked the show. I have no idea about the reboot though. I don't know if it did shit or not. And let's put in. What about Hey Arnold? Hey Arnold. I didn't really watch Hey Arnold. It's kind of a shame, because the thing with Hey Arnold is, the thing about Hey Arnold is it's actually from what I hear, it's actually an amazing show, but I did not watch it. As a kid, I thought it was boring, but I guarantee you, if I rewatched this as I was older, it'd probably be an amazing show. I almost guarantee you. Because supposedly it actually had a lot of like good stories and wholesome things to it in a more, I guess, mature way for the most part. And I did watch some episodes. Like, I didn't say I'd ignored it. I watched a few. They were pretty fun, but there's a lot of really deep episodes from this, from what I hear. And I'm kind of, if that's the case, I will have to watch it at some point. If that's the case, I'd be sad that I missed it. Because I was more of a Cartoon Network fan than a Nickelodeon fan, but back in the day. All right, so let's oh god, this is pretty pixelated. Which, I mean, sure I do pixel art, but this is I need it zoomed out so I can see the shapes better. This one's fucking weird. I do not understand the Ed and Eddie style at all, because I'm used to hard shapes, right? How the fuck do you even block out these shapes? How do you even block these out? Like, this is definitely a style that you just have to develop. I mean, yeah, sure, you can look at them and kind of get the idea of it, but... Alright, let's, what we'll do is we'll go left to right, and I'm just gonna do my best to break them down, as much as I can. I'm not a good artist. I know people say otherwise, but I don't think I'm a good artist. The reason why I don't say I'm a good artist, I'll show you why. So, let's say I was doing... Not like a hard copy of this, but let's say like I was using this as a reference, right? Let me do this. How should I do this? Let's do 400, I guess. So, sure, I could sit here and go like, we're gonna be very general, just so y'all get the idea of what I'm talking about and why I don't consider myself a very good artist. So I can do stuff with this and not like straight copy in turn. Like, I'm not tracing or anything. Like, I don't have to trace to do it. I can draw it over here, no problem. You know, and there are also, in the case of 3D characters, like, there are 3D modeling programs I use as reference. But the thing is that, how do I say this? I can sit here, right, with you all, and I can break this shape down. Okay, so the back of his head is very sharp. He has a sort of V going on here, and then he has this curve into the square, right? And I can say, alright, well, this here is just a square. You're just slightly curving the edges. Fine. His limbs are very sharp. Actually, let's go to the other image. Yeah, see, they're still sharp here. I don't know if they're always sharp, but they're still sharp here. Right? Although, then again, they are straight out, so they're going to be sharp. Then you got Dee Dee here, whose edges have... It's curved, but it's still straight, though. Although, I mean, I can definitely imagine they make her arms very noodly throughout the show. I actually rewatched an episode of Dexter's the other day, and it's kind of the reason why I'm doing this right now, is because I rewatched an episode of Dexter the other day, and it reminded me why I like these shows. I actually really like the animation, especially like Samurai Jack is... I'm gonna keep gushing over Samurai Jack, but like, where the fuck is it? It's so fucking good. Like, I'm not saying it because we're just... No, I mean, look, there are certain... It's... Okay. Watch Samurai Jack. I think it's called Jack and the Ninja. Watch that episode. okay, let's put it this way. If you're familiar, everybody's familiar with Cowboy Bebop, right? If you're familiar with it. There's the episode of Cowboy Bebop that everybody keeps saying, watch first and tell me if you like it, is, I think, episode 4, where he fights the one guy in the church. Samurai Jack's version of that, in my opinion, is Jack and the Ninja. Like, it shows the 3 blind archers. Watch those. If you really like those, watch the entire series, because it's really good. If I could choose like a Visago animation and I was going to animate it and such, my number 1 inspiration would be Samurai Jack, followed by Hell of a Boss. Hell of a Boss just because of the art style, not necessarily because of anything else. Just because of the art style. But Jack would be my inspiration for everything else, in terms of like the tone. Well, I would have my own tones to it as well. It's not just purely action in my case, but I lean more towards drama than action myself, in terms of like my own stories. But this would be the number 1 thing. All right, let's go back here. But as I was saying though, even if I break down Dexter here, and you can break these down, I can say with the shapes, sure. But one thing you have to consider is when they created him originally, like, you know, his style and all that. Like, you know, what kind of character design are we going to use, right? Now, one thing with character design that's really big, and you can actually see this by looking at my model, actually. If you actually see him. Actually, a really good example for my model, I actually have my own art piece. Actually, I might be able to pull it up here. Hold on, let me see. See if I can find it real quick. So, it's better if I use my own example of something I actually did. If I can find it. Should have the original file. I can pull it up on Asebrite. If Windows wasn't so fucking slow. There we go. Alright, this right here. Now, it's not my perfect silhouette, but it's close enough. And it's my old design, not my current design. Although, obviously, they're very similar. You know you have a good character design, and I'm not trying to sit here and toot my horn. I'm just giving an example, because the reason why I say this is because I get so many freaking people, and some of y'all know this, I get so many people popping in my streams saying, like, oh my god, I love your character, I need to make fan art. Like, that's one thing, because I've been talking before, like, I might debate a rebranding, because I'm not sure if the whole devil thing fits my brand, so to speak. Not that it really matters nowadays, because I'm mainly looking at the art and game dev things nowadays and streaming. But I get everybody say, oh, I love your design. One of the main things about character design is the silhouette. Like, can you look at a character silhouette and go, hey, that's so-and-so? I wouldn't say entire silhouette here would be the case, because once you remove the mask, it's not as apparent. Actually, hold on, can I relayer these? Let me see. Let me see if I can remove a bunch of stuff. And pop. Can I remove the mask? No, I think it's a part. Yeah, it's a part of that. Let me just. I'll just bucket it temporarily. But I wouldn't say it's like 100% identifiable, especially because of my other design. But there is a decent silhouette there, at least in my opinion. There's a pretty decent silhouette here, right? And a big thing, a big thing with character design is having a good silhouette, to where you can look at a silhouette of a character and you can identify that character immediately. Like, if I do, and it's weird because you'd think you'd run out of silhouettes, but I don't think that's really the case. So, like, for example, I'm gonna do, I don't know if I probably won't do this good enough, but we'll give it an attempt. We'll give it a full-hearted attempt. So if I do, actually, here, we'll do one of the, let me try to think of who they are. All right, if you're familiar with the show, let's do an easy character. If it'll let me fucking draw here. All right, we'll do a very simple Cartoon Network character. I do this. I do, let's say, like, I need to shrink this here real quick. I do this, or not like that. Oop. Something like this. We're being very rough with it. Let's get some circles. Like that. Pop, 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 pop. I'm just gonna half-ass it here because we're not expecting much. We're gonna half-ass it a little bit. If I do something like this. I don't have to get super detailed with this because you'll notice the It's a silhouette, it's not the main... Okay, I'm definitely not doing it. Now that I put the silhouette, I'm definitely not doing it properly. Say I do that. Okay, so maybe I am counterpoint. Let's do this. Let's do this. This will be a little easier. No, don't delete it. Let's do this. It'll be a lot simpler. So let's say I take Dexter here and I just fill him in completely. All right. So let's just do a... Hold on, am I drawing here? Yeah, I am. I'm in the wrong thing. So whoosh. So if I just do this, again, ignoring the fact you are going to see outlines, so I'm not doing a perfect outline here. Come on. God damn it. Hold on, I got this thing in my way. So I can zoom in a little better. Makes it a little easier. If I do this... Whoosh, whoosh, give me 1 second while I get this going. I could use a tool to grab it, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna be stubborn. So if I did this, we're almost there. Just gotta do a big curve here. Alright. What the fuck? Oh, god. Fucking... Hold on. Let me do this. Select color range. Okay. There we go. Oh my fucking god, why? Why? Okay, no, fuck it, hold on. I'll use the fucking tools. Hey, Sprite, I'll use the tools. Stop being a dick. Oh my god, this is just not showing the proper example. Let's do this then. Select this. Select that. Selection inverse. Make a new layer. There, finally, we fucking did it. Okay. If I do this... Anybody's actually familiar with the show, you're gonna know immediately that looks like... You could probably guess that looks like Dexter, right? You could probably guess it if you're familiar with the show. That's because of silhouette. Like, think about it. How many other characters you know in media that you can actually confuse with this silhouette? How many can you confuse? I almost guarantee almost none of them. I guarantee there's almost not a single character you can confuse with the silhouette. Or if I go to a really good example, actually, would be Arnold here, right? I guarantee if I blocked him out, and you're familiar with the show, I highly doubt you could think of a single fucking character that you could mistake for his silhouette. And that's when you know you have a really good character design. But the key with this, though, is you need a good silhouette, but you also need a very simple design that's very easy to animate. Now, my problem, what I want with my work... actually, I want to pull... Give me 1 second. The lost character real quick. Copy image. So my problem with my work is I have a few criteria I want to meet. So for Asuka here real quick. So there's a few criteria I want to meet. I want it to be simple to animate for movement and stuff, which would be the example here with Samurai Jack. He's very simple. He's very fucking simple. At least, especially with his robe on. When he has the robe off, he's a little bit harder, but with his robe on, he's one of the easiest fucking things to animate. Overall speaking, I'm not saying my animation skill will be that great. But here's the thing. With I want something that's easy to animate, but also looks good. You know? Leaves to the imagination. And... that's very hard. It's very hard to figure out, at least for me personally. Because, like, okay, like, let's take Papa Girls, for example. They're very simple. Very, very simple. But my problem with these designs, well, they're great for comedy. If you're doing, like, a comedy thing, it's great. But the problem with these designs is that... How do I put it? I really don't know how I want to put it. Well, first off, these designs are not serious. Like, there's almost nothing serious. It doesn't say anything serious about these. You can, I mean, in Dexter's Lab, for example, there are action scenes. Matter of fact, the reason why he... Guinea, I'll call him Guinea. The reason why Guinea left Dexter to do Samurai Jack is he wanted to do a more action and serious show, which then he moved a decade later to Adult Swim, so he can actually be very serious with Samurai Jack, and he did it very successfully. That's kind of my problem, is I want something that can do cartoonish stuff, like, say, these, for goofy, funny moments, but I also want something I can do serious. Actually, I would say Hell Boss is actually a similar way, where they're totally viable to do goofy things, but they can also have serious... I mean, I say that lightly, because personally, I think the story of Hell Boss is eh. But this art style can definitely have serious and goofy moments. It's just my problem is I don't fucking know how I can do a very simple design. Like, say for Visago, for example, I would like to get a very simple design, not for my streaming model, obviously, but for drawing. I would like to figure out a very simple design that I like, that I would love to animate and keep as like a main animation piece, like, you know, say here at Moxie or Blitzo and such. Well, Zen's more cartoonish, more like a cartoon, a non-serious cartoon, or Vroska here, that I'm happy with, and it's very hard. And I think it's partially due to my biggest fucking weakness as an artist, personally, besides, like, you know, I don't have a very steady hand, but that's fine. I do pixel art. Not having a steady hand isn't too bad if you do pixel art. If you do high-res stuff, it's a little worse, but which I do like to do. But if I'm doing especially simple characters like these, because the other benefit, by the way, for me personally, doing these sorts of characters, because obviously I do mainly pixel art, the main benefit of doing simple designs like these, primarily, like, you know, the girls here, just circle with a few curves and legs, right? The main benefit of these is, at least on a pixel art level, it's easy to do on small and big sizes, because a big disadvantage of pixel art, which would be weird to do for these kind of animations, right? But a big disadvantage of pixel art is you can't just shrink and grow things. Like, I don't know, let's do like... I don't know, something like this, I guess. We're gonna take this, and we're gonna shrink it. You lose pixels. See? If you grow it, it then has to guess pixels, so it kind of like adds extra pixels. It looks weird. Now you can grow it like a 1-for-1, that works, but even if you grow for a 1-for-1, you have to trim it. Let's just presume this is 1-for-1 because it's very similar anyway. Like, I'd have to come in here and like trim off these parts so it's actually looks pixelated and accurate and all that stuff. I'd have to come out here and trim it. So pixel art, you can't just shrink and grow things. So if you had, say for example, a camera that zoomed in and out, it depends on style. It definitely depends on style, but you have two options. You would either have to, what is it? You would have to either just draw your image, we'll say a square here, and as you zoom in or out, you have to do another frame, and then the next frame you do that, next frame you do that. Or you have to draw the whole scene at once and then change the canvas size itself. My point being, if I do just a regular drawing, or I say this is a regular drawing, all I have to do is just zoom in and out if I want some kind of like action that would require it. Pixel art, you can't do that as well. I mean, you can do it, nothing's stopping you, but it's a little... In a video game, you can. In a video game, you definitely can, and that's fine for me, because you could just, you know, you're just zooming in the resolution, and it's not a big deal. But in art, if I'll say animate, I could do a full animation in pixel art, you can't. And the thing is the smaller resolution something is, like, say I start from, like, I don't know, 8x8, and then I'm supposed to blow up to, like, 64x64, you can't really use the previous frame as reference that well, through onioning and such. Because obviously there's gonna be details that you would show up here, but will not show up here. They have to play around with, and it gets very annoying, and it can probably throw people off a lot. But I could try to do a Visago shape thing. It's just very hard for me. Like, for example, one theory I had, because the problem isn't just, it's not just the shapes of the form of the body itself, it's also, Ed and Eddie, notwithstanding with how fucking weird their character designs are, I'll get to that in a minute, but like, For example, okay, so we'll take, these are actually a good example. So very simple shapes, right? Let me use green here. So very simple shapes here, right? You got your little circles, you got your little curves, just very simple curves. You see it, they're very simple character designs. But what makes them pop out, despite being as simple as they are just very subtle curves like this. So for example, you could do a leg where it's just whoosh, whoosh, and then straight up, right? Or we could just do a leg like boom, 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 and call it a day. But they don't do that. They come here, and then they curve, then come up. And it's very small things, but it's enough to make a big difference. Or even if we come, actually even a Samurai Jack here, his head is a box. Like, if he's just doing a default neutral position, his head is a fucking box. It's literally just this. Like that, if you do a hard reference. But then here, when you get more dynamic, it's very small, subtle things. Like, see, it's small curve right there, right? Even though up here, it's still a box, right? You know. And especially with me, personally, we'll attempt to doodle here, I guess. So with these sort of characters, let's say I'm doing Jack, right? If I'm doing Jack, I can just do like square. We'll do a very simple Jack. I'm not going to be perfect here. We're just going to try to get something down. Like that. Get his chin there. That's a little too high. Come on down here. Also that square. Okay. I say I'm not being perfect. I'm over here trying to be a perfectionist about it. Stop being perfectionist, Visago. Stop it. Also, perfectionism also kills me as well. It's fucking annoying. It'll be very loose. Boom, boom. Let me zoom out real quick. Get a shoulder, like, right there. Just being very rough with it. It's very rough. And they're, like, very square hands. Very rough, we're not being exact here. Then this ski would come down like that. Again, we're just being very guesstimate about it. It's kind of hard to do this part in pixel without being... Let me turn on pixel perfect. I'm just going to be very rough with it. See, this is pixels. A very, very small pixel off makes his nose look very weird. It's just a straight line there. Just being very rough like this. Something very rough. Just going purely by memory here. But you can get the rough idea here where it's simple, but then when he starts moving, you have to really go dynamic with the shapes. Because the other benefit with these is that turning this head around is very easy. Like, again, I keep putting these for example. I come back to them because they're just so... These characters are so fucking simple. Powerpuff Girls right here. Now... Ed and Eddie's the one I can barely grasp. I can barely grasp them. I'm gonna be honest, I really don't even know where to start with these guys. And like... I will say this, like, these are definitely signs of people who have drawn a lot. To no surprise, I mean, they're animators. There's no fucking surprise whatsoever. But these characters especially are from people who've drawn a lot. Especially, I say especially Ed and Eddie. I know the guy who did Ed and Eddie, he was disappointed when he switched to digital, but he went ahead and switched anyway because it made the show quicker, which... The funny thing is that actually happened when the show started dying, when they went to digital, I believe. But, especially Ed and Eddie, though, because if you actually watch the original seasons, their outlines are very jittery. Like, they jitter all the time because they're hand-drawn. And the interesting about the jitteriness, though, is it actually helped the design. It actually gave it its charm. And, matter of fact, so much so that when they did switch to digital, they informed the animators to keep the jittery design, even though they didn't have to in digital. because that was the part of the charm of the show, and it definitely was. Like, I would not want an entity if it didn't have, like, the slight jitters to it. I don't know if the movie did. Hold on. I'm gonna get a clip real quick. I'm not gonna show it on stream, obviously, for copyright reasons, but... Did... I'm trying. Did they keep the jitteriness in the...
Help you out.
Shut up. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they kept it in the movie, which was many years after. Yeah, they kept it good. Not that I expect them not to, but it'd be weird if they didn't. But they kept it in the movie as well. Side note, don't ever bring Ed and Eddie back for a little fucking god. Do not bring it back. Keep it dead. It had a really good ending. Keep it dead, please. Please don't bring it back. Anyways, I really but generally though speaking, I have no idea where I would start with these characters. I have no fucking clue. I have no goddamn clue. But here, especially with like Jack here, right? Okay, I kind of deleted some stuff, but my control of shapes in general, and not just talking like this here, because like okay, I could pull Jack up because I have done a Jack piece before, but I could pull Jack up. Where is he at? Like I could pull him up, look at him, be like, okay, well, I gotta fix his head shape. It's a little off. I have a little diamond here for the front of his hair. The hands are blocky, but they have tiny details like that. Just stuff like that. I can go in here and I can fix him up and he would look fine. But my bot... That's not the point, though. You need to be able to do it where I don't have to look at that reference to get an idea of, like, okay, well, the square's like this. Here's the proportion of this square to the rest of his body. The arms, we want the flow very sharp or very curvy and soft. I need more practice. What the fuck is this music? I'll just let it go. I don't know. It's so then when I'm thinking about my own design, I don't know where the fuck would I even start. Like where the fuck would I start? Like do I just do a typical figure drawing and start with the spine? Do I do like a character reference sheet or something? Like where the hell do I start? We can try something here. I don't know. It's just doodle, I guess. Because the other thing I see as an artist is a lot. I mean, obviously it's due to their experience and such, but they can just do this. They don't have to sit here. I mean, sure they do for like design purposes, but they don't really have to sit here and do like, okay, here's a spine, here's a shoulder. No, they can just do like. Well, they can do it, but they do it really quickly. Where it's like, all right, head here, then we're gonna make his arm come out here because this is his figure, or like. You know, arm, but then he has his fucking cloak. Like they can do like the entire contours and just fly through it, which I can't do because, well, mainly due to perfectionism as well as other things. But we'll do something simple here. So there was a art style. My earliest art style I actually tried to learn from. Funny enough, is actually Happy Tree Friends. Let me see if I can remember it. So, very simple. It's actually very similar to... Not exact, but it's very similar to Powerpuff Girls, actually. It's Happy Tree Friends. Because I was a fucking edgelord back in the day. I'll do this. You just do a little... Kind of like a little bell. Sort of sack here, right? Something like this. I wouldn't say exact. It's probably a little smaller. Something like that. Like, if I do a head... We'll do a head-on. We won't do anything too fancy here. We'll do a head-on design. Something like that. Get little arms. And then for the leg, if I'm doing, again, we're doing head on and straight on, then the legs would be like... I mean, this probably would be a thing, because I remember, as a kid, I would look at characters... Like, you make your OCs, right? You just make your OCs, right? You're a fan of thing, you make your own characters for it. Oh my god, this eraser's so huge. Here, I'm just gonna make this easier on myself. That I couldn't do as a kid. Bam. There we go. We just do that and be a little easier. The power of digital art. Not exactly. Actually, I think this is way too... These are way too big. Like that. Something like that. Let's get rid of these little tips here. Boop. Boop. Maybe like that. Like, you break down the core of it. Hold on. It's still off somehow. Yeah, you get like the core of the design, and you kind of play around with it, right? So almost all the characters had like a little belly here. And I think, you know what I should do? Now that I think about it, you know what I should do? Maybe I should go back to doing my little comics, right? Because I remember when I was younger, again, this entire stream's just me being nostalgic and just really thinking to myself. That's what this... Sorry if anybody came here expecting, like, actual full art or anything. That's not... I'm in a rambly mood. Hold on, are we in the art category or are we in the just chatting category? Just chatting. Good, because that's what we're supposed to do, is we're just chatting. So what is it? I had a brain fart. Oh, yes. So, my original art style, when I first... it's stick figures, obviously, because, you know, when you're a baby artist, everybody does stick figures. And I would make these little stick dudes. I called them Jim and Rude. But they would be like... Here, let's draw them. Let's draw some old characters of mine when I was little Visago. So, got this. I'll do it freehand, since, you know, obviously if we're back in the day, I'll be doing it freehand. I won't even give them a neck. They'll just be like... Because everybody did stick figures. Especially in the early days of the internet, everybody did stick figures. Everybody said, fuck it. Something along these lines, although his arms are way too thick. No, I find it... Okay, I'm actually noticing something here, right? My drawings of these characters, despite them being stick figures, my drawings of these characters as a kid are better than they are now. And it's because I don't draw these guys as much anymore. Because even simple characters like this, even very simple characters like this, and you draw them a lot, you get way better. Not just better at drawing them themselves, mind you, but you get better at different ways to express them. And you get to know them better in different poses and such. And I think my thing with Visago as a character is it's a very serious character, right? And I find myself more there's two things I'm motivated by when it comes to my own creation, my own content, right? Either it's something spicy, because I like drawing my pretty ladies, or it's something stupid, absolutely stupid. Something absolutely stupid, right? Then we'll do some weird, like, red highlight kind of stuff here. Yeah, rude. This is rude. I don't know why I don't know why I made these designs the way I did. It's so weird. It was so fucking weird. So I had the smart guy be the one with, like, the cap that... It's like the little cap with the propeller on the top of the head. The really stupid cap that usually in a lot of media they say the dumb person had. He was actually the smart one. Which is a funny thing with this, how I did this character. And then the dumb one was the guy with the emo hair. Let's see here. I'm gonna erase a bit here. Something like that. Obviously, I'm not expecting proportions here. And then we had... I'll just copy, because they have basically the same body type. I'll just flip them. But for this guy, we will... Like this. And obviously they have no clothes. You're not allowed to put clothes on your first OCs. That's just illegal. Right? And I'm gonna be honest, back in the day, I made a lot of really edgy shit with these characters. Remember, he had the hair on this side. Obviously with the silhouette, you're not gonna notice his hair like this. It's gonna be a little weird. And he also had a little bit dripping this way. Oh yeah, I made him like that. There we go. Something like that. Oh, this is silhouette, not an exact. Actually, here, let's get some black outlines so we can actually kind of see it. So he had his hair like this. Something like that. Something like... Actually, it kind of came up a little sharper up this way, but I'm not going to worry about that. No, these were like the first little dudes that I would make little comics of. Then eventually, with me doing the Happy Tree Friend style, I added character Rimpy. He was just the adorable little mouse guy who Actually, it's probably smarter than both the other two. Oh, wait, we're lagging. Wait, we lagging out? Is my computer going shit? We good? Oh, okay, hold on. Let me check my task manager real quick, everybody. Windows has been really fucking weird lately. Can I check something real quick? If it comes up quick, I'm good. If it doesn't, then something's weird with my Windows. Oh, it came up quick. CPU's going... No, CPU... I think it's just opening task manager initially that breaks the CPU. No, I'm good. Nah, it's just being weird. But, anyway, so we have little Rimpy here. Wouldn't be a perfect circle. It's a happy... They don't have perfect circle bodies, but... Good enough. But I should have kept going, though, because... The thing with me making these characters is very slowly I started practicing... more defined, like, you know, actually anatomically, like humans and such, but I stopped, because I just stopped drawing in general, right? Just stopped drawing in general, and Rimpy is something, we'll do a head-on, for Rimpy. We're gonna do a silhouette, and actually, I want to give a little hint with Rimpy, right? If you look at my hair, the little two dreads that people call it the anime hair on Visago, they came from Rimpy. I used to draw his hair like... something like that. Funny enough, I'm not as good as I was with a kid drawing this guy, because I haven't drawn him in a long time. But... something like that. Something like that. It was much more smooth. But then again, I'm also doing digital, because these I would obviously draw in pencil on like a notebook, right? You know, we have a little bit of fuzz back here. He had little ears, but you wouldn't really see them here. They would probably be stuck in the hair, right? You wouldn't really see his ears. I mean, we could kind of do them. We could do like that. Oop. Something like this. Even a little triangle nose. He also died a lot. He was basically my serious Kenny, because he would die all the fucking time. He was basically Kenny. Let's curve this a little more. Give him a little... I'm trying to work out how I did his feet. I'm just like... No. Yeah, we're just doing a very simple head-on. We're not getting very complicated with it. But Rimpy... I adored Rimpy, but he also is the thing I killed off all the time. Because that's just... He was Kenny. He was basically fucking Kenny. He would die in some of those horrible things, even though he's probably the smartest character of the bunch. And one with the most common sense, the antics would usually end up in him getting killed. Because that's just how they roll. Also, he had a little tail. Let me thicken out this leg a little more. Something like that, right? Little tail. Just do doodle. We're not going to go crazy with it. But no, these were characters back in the day I would make comics of all the time, and I did adore them. Pretty edgy for today's times. People are fucking babies nowadays, but let's put it this way: my jokes back then I had no hold bars. Let's put it that way. But, no, I did adore these guys. There were a bunch of other characters, like the evil toilet. That was an evil toilet. I think he only showed up like once, though. He didn't really do anything crazy. Let me see. And I also remember as a kid, I was obsessed with, like, the Grim Reaper, right? So Rimpy actually has an outfit where he actually has, like, a robe and a scythe. Like, you know, you got... We'll just do a quick doodle of it, right? And the robe was easier, because all I'd have to do is, like... something like that, right? Something like this, and he had a little mask like that. He still, his hair would still pop out here. Right. I'll be curious, like, with what I know about art now, because I know a lot more than I did back then. Despite what my skill level may say here. I'd be curious now of how well I would do these characters. This is just quick doodle, we're not going too crazy with it, but I'd be curious how I would do these characters now. And honestly, I'm starting to think, like, what if I did what I did when I was younger, right? Like, what if... Because, you know, when you're younger, there's a series you like, so you make OCs for it, just simple stuff like that. Because a lot of people make, like, OCs for shows, right? They get a lot of shit, right? Because you get, like, the weird stuff with, like, fan bases and such like that. But I'm gonna be dead fucking honest with you, I almost guarantee, almost, like, especially in current times, maybe not, I don't know how much back then, but, like, in current times especially, a lot of people make, like, OCs like that. I would say... Ooh, excuse me. Like, I would even go as cringy as to say maybe people would make Sonic OCs. As long as they vary their work and they don't just make those one type of characters, they probably understand making original characters more than a lot of other people do. Like, if I continue these and I start making other OCs and these sorts of things, like Rimpy, for example, even though the style was primarily taken from Happy Tree Friends back in the day, it doesn't show here, but if I go back and look at my old art, slowly over time it'd be really stupid simple like this, and then very slowly I start getting more and more detailed. They flow so much better as I kept drawing them over and over, and they were just so fun to do. I also started making other characters. Like, I had one guy, he's like a greedy corporate guy, right? His name was Mr. Ballsack. That wasn't actually his name. I just called him Mr. Ballsack because he looks like this. Hold on if I can. This is literally his head. His name is Mr. Ballsack. Like that. Oh my! That almost looks dead on him. Besides the shapes not being correct, he'd just be a really big dude like this. You know, I did draw his hands. It's just been so long, so I don't remember what kind of style I did with his hands. So no, I'd be really curious, like, doing characters like it's just. I wouldn't mind doing simple characters like this. My problem is just, doing really simple characters, despite them being pretty useful. Like, honestly, I wish I continued, because doing characters like this is better than doing no characters at all, right? And the biggest thing about doing these type of characters is that you learn your own style. It's how you do your own style. And I respected this more because when I did this, it was mine, you know? It was mine. Like, this guy, he wasn't inspired by anything. It just came out of my head. Mr. Ballsack is a fucking Ballsack head. Oh my god, it's so stupid. He's so fucking stupid. You know, I think the scene in the comic was, one of the guys come up, "We have a letter for you, sir." It's like, "Good, open it for me before I eat it." And it's just... it's not really that funny looking back at it, but, you know, it gave me a chuckle back in the day. Mr. Ballsack. The big fat cat CEO. Scratch my back. I don't know, maybe I should do dumb comics like this again. I really should. Ah, Talix. Thank you for your sacrifices, Talix. Hello, welcome back. Ow, god, fucking. Of course you do. Of course you try to stop me. Hi, Talix, how are we? How are we? We gotta think of a funny we gotta think of a stupid comic. I can't...
Talix has made sacrifices for 3 months.
I can't resurrect these characters. Just in a bit of pain. What'd you do? Did you finally get tortured for throwing shit at me for so long? Also, thank you for subscription. I appreciate it, Alex. You know I love you. Sometimes. Sometimes. Anyways, let's see here. No, about... I got gout. Ooh, ow. Well, that sucks. Well, I hope you have fast recovery, Alex. I really do. Mr. Ballsack. That was just like Steve Jobs, like a fat ballsack Steve Jobs. I don't know why that brings it out to me. It's a fat ballsack Steve Jobs or something. Let's do some more dumb doodles. Let's do a lady doodle. I need. All right, I'm gonna. Also playing Repo with friends at the moment. How is Repo? How is Repo? How is Repo compared to Lethal Company? Give me your opinion on that, because I've been debating on playing it with some people. Also, I need to switch my category to art, since we actually are doing art proper. We're just doodling. We're not doing any crazy pieces. I want to get back to how I was when I was a kid, and I just didn't give a fuck what I drew, and I just drew whatever. I say I enjoyed it a lot more than Lethal Company. Got you. But that is Mr. Ballsack. He's a greedy CEO guy that got assassinated with a letter bomb back when I used to draw a lot as a kid. Anyways, let's see. I didn't really draw too many ladies back. That's interesting. I never really drew that many ladies back then, and now I mainly just like to draw ladies. It's goofy. I think the main reason was because a lot of my designs were very rough, and I didn't like it. Like, 'cause I didn't like my lady designs, because all my lady designs summarized up to is me just taking like these stick figures and giving them like a bow or something. Like actually, Rimpy had I actually made a lady. It was like a cat for Rimpy, for like some stupid gag. I think the body was exactly the same, so I'm not going to draw it. You lurk now. Enjoy your lurk, Talix. Thank you for the subscription. I appreciate it. Like, I think it was like, it's basically literally the exact same design, but she was a cat. And let me see. So, no. So nothing's different here. We got the ears. So I'm being very rough with it. We're just doodling. Something like that, but what did I do differently with her? I think all I did was I just gave her like, I don't know what I did differently with her. Some like just simple basic bitch hair. Some kind of ponytail thing in the back. I don't quite remember. That's so long since I drew. I think I drew her like once or twice ever. Yeah, I don't remember. It's been so long. I think I just gave her like a fucking like a lot of like old cartoons would do, like Tom and Jerry. Where it's really like the exact same body design, except they just, you know, curve the body a little bit more and add like a fucking bow somewhere. That was literally what I did. It was like, it wasn't as bad as this, but it was still like literally just Brimpy, but with a bow and different hair. Like, just stupid shit like that. And then the ladies, Jimru, were literally just, like, well, they were stick figures. To be fair, you can understand stick figures, but same thing with them. But I really do wish I kept drawing like this, because as rough and simple as this is, if I kept going with this, I 100% would have figured out my own art design. I think my problem is that I thought they were so rough, and I started trying to draw realistically, which is fine. I do think you should learn the fundamentals, but I don't know. I think just figuring out my own voice. Like, if I could get that brain back, right, where I enjoyed making comics of these characters. I drew a lot back when I was little. If I just got back into the mental state to just consistently churn out these little comics, I guarantee you 100%, not only would my art improve, because you're just doing art, that's just natural, you would improve, but also I would 100% finally develop a style I like. And obviously my main inspirations were, well, I wouldn't say directs, I didn't really copy them too much back in the day. Aside from Happy Tree Friends, that was literally the only style I actually like studied and learned because it was so easy. But it really was, and yes, I did draw a lot of edgy shit. Especially if my inspiration's Happy Tree Friends. But these sort of characters here, as well as the more modern, like, I'm gonna be honest, of all the modern animations I've seen, the Vizzy Pop style is the only one I gave two fucks about. in modern styles. Like, and God help you if you show me that fucking bean style. I'm gonna torture you extra in hell if that's your main style. Seriously, what's the fucking, hold on, what's the fucking word for that style? I need to see. It's so bad. I hate it so much. I'll show it on screen. Hold on. It's like Steven Universe style. I hate it so much. It's just fucking... Hold on, first let me copy this image real quick so I can show you all. This, actually that's not a good example. Hold on, let me find a better example. This here's a good example. That right there. Hold on, let me grab, hold on, what's the name of this style? There's a name of it. The fuck's the name? Cal Arts, yeah. Yeah, Cal Arts. I hate that style so much. I will take any. I would rather try to be serious with a rubber hose style, which rubber hose style is really good, but like I'd rather try to make like a serious Samurai Jack thing with rubber hose style than do anything with fucking Cal Art style. I hate it so much. Because it just took over back in the day, and everything was a fucking bean. Just everything looked like it's fucking Sans from Undertale. Like everything just looked like it was fucking Sans. Now, granted, I believe the style came before Undertale. Hold on, let me double check that. I gotta check. Yeah, oh yeah, these were before Undertale, but I believe. Let me double check that. Yeah, it was 2015, I figured. Yeah, so these were before Undertale, but like ever since Undertale, it's like I just call this the Sans art style. Not that I hate Sans. I like that character, but whenever I see these characters, I can't help but think of Sans. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter. It could be like, not hating on Gumball, but hold on. Let me see. See, like even if I see this. Now, I didn't actually see this show, but here it's actually not too bad. I don't know for sure. I mean, somebody can correct me on that. I don't care, though, because I have no interest in seeing it. But I see this shit, and I just think Sans. Because of the face. Ignore the rest about it. Just the face. It's fucking Sans. Like, let's get some fucking... Hold on. No. Just because I can, we're gonna do something stupid. Oh, shut up, Lo-Fi. Oh, no, that's Newgrounds. Pause Newgrounds for a second. Let me see here. Like just fucking. Let's grab a random one. Let's grab you. Not you. What the hell's his name? I don't want to play the original because I don't want YouTube to get up my butt about it. There we go. Just don't Don't tell me if you didn't make this guy a fucking, like, a skeleton, you wouldn't just think like you're in fucking Undertale. Like, come on. Like, I can't, like, every time I see this goddamn face, and they all look the same to me. Like, even, hold on, where's it at? Where the fuck's the other one? It was called, what the fuck was the other one called? It was... Hold on, here we go. Like, ignore it. Look at her face. I can't not think of Sans seeing that face. Even though it's a girl. And if he started smiling, I'd see it too. Like, I hate this art style so goddamn much. And now, whether the individual shows are good or not, I leave up to you. I don't care. I didn't watch these shows. But I can't not think of Sans when I see these, and I just have no interest in this art style at all compared to. Samurai Jack's a masterclass on its own. We're not even going to compare it to that because there's just no contest. But like this here's way more expressive, especially considering just the overall style is the same, but each of these characters, the way they're drawn, aside from just the overall cohesiveness of it, are pretty unique. Because you got some characters where their head juts out. Oh, let me get red here. Some of their head jut out like this. Actually, I'm not going to say that actually, because I'm pretty sure people are going to follow. Because I can come in here, and there are characters with different designs. Like, these guys don't suffer from it. She doesn't suffer from it. It's just... They make the main characters always have this fucking bean. Like, my emote... Like, literally, it's the Bean Lord. Like, these are the cartoons of the Bean Lord. I don't like to talk blasphemy to the Bean Lord, but... don't tell him I don't like his cartoons, or at least not his art style. So you know, I don't like it. Which is why I love. I mean, granted, it's just a good art style in general, but I love the Vizzy Pop art style overall. I love it. I wish I could do something like that, but you know. But no, I wouldn't mind trying to get back to maybe doing little stupid comics and cartoons again. If I could think of one right now, I would do one. But it's just weird though. I know I'm silly some of the time, but I don't really like the sort of inspiration just doesn't pop into my head like it used to. It just doesn't. Now I can think of a lot of like serious stories, but like a lot of very deep ones actually. But I don't know. I think I need to go back to the silly style, at least temporarily. Wait, did I just close out? Where'd my art go? Did I just close out my art? I think I did. Oh, come on, don't tell me I closed out my thing. I think I did. Oh no, it's over here. How do you get over here? What the fuck are you doing? It's over here. Alright, we need to turn this music off before something we get slammed by something. But no, it's I don't like the Cal art style. It's a big no-no for me. Let's see. But I suppose the thing is, though, is how do you really break these styles down, like, in a way that you can actually add it to your repertoire? I'm not saying break it down as in you're just gonna straight copy, but like actually add it to your repertoire as an artist yourself. You know, kind of like, how do I put it? What was another thing? Like, I know even with singing, like, I don't do crazy singing, but when I was doing some practice, and I was looking, you know, you look up, like, some guys and stuff like that, where they would often, there were some tutors where they would take the singing... What the fuck? Hold on a minute. Huh? Anyways, they would take the singing style of other singers, like, for example, I was looking at Muse. For those who know Muse, they do very high vocals. And they were giving the example of the way they did high vocals as a tool you could use as a singer. Like, I know in some of the singer songs in Muse, he does like, it's like almost like a gritting of your teeth while he sings high. I don't know if I can't really do it right now because that's a bit pretty loud and it's a bit late right now, but it was like a tool when you sing high to make it give it a different little reverberation, and it's very useful, and it's like a tool you add. Like, you're not literally singing like him, your voice is going to be unique, but you're getting it as a tool to put in your singing. That's what I'm referring to when I'm looking at these. Is like, how can I pull these into it? Now, I will say there's obviously a stark difference when we compare this to any of these. Which, like, I'm going to be dead honest to you. The only reason I think any of these shows, like Hellballs, Hazbin Hotel, got anywhere was literally the art style. I said it a million times. Like, if the art style was not this, like, if the art style was fucking Cal art, nobody would give any fucks about it or care about this fucking series. It is literally the art style carries it, in my personal opinion. But the story's good. No, it's not. They repeat the same story over, unless there's stuff I haven't seen, like more recent stuff I haven't seen. From up the amount I've watched, they just repeat the same story over and over again, and the characters barely have any development whatsoever. Again, at least from the ones I've seen. Maybe it changed later, but in my opinion, it's too little too late when it's past 2 seasons and they still haven't done anything I give 2 fucks about. Let me see. Not you. I only pull these guys together so that it's easier to flip through them. There's a lot of there's a lot of characters with straight lines though. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find some of those characters. Well, going through these. fuck's this music? Oh, somebody did a One-Winged Angel remix. By Pumodi on Newgrounds. P-U-M-O-D-I. I like One-Winged Angel, it's a good song. I've never actually played Final Fantasy VII, but I do know One-Winged Angel song, and it's great. Oh, it just ended, damn it. Let me see here. Hmm. Hmm. So, okay, so looking through, I mean, granted, I don't know about her art overall, we're just looking at the individual characters. Let me see here real quick. I'm just double checking through characters. Let me see, or hold on, let me check one character. I'm trying to just look at the art style real quick. Hmm. Okay, so aside from certain clothing choices, like a lot of big fluffy robes, that aside, it seems most of the general Visipop style, at least from the shows. I don't know about, because I know she just does art in general, so I don't know about general art. But I know from like the shows and such, from what I can see, very tall, thin characters, or well, lanky, thin characters overall. Because if we go through here, you know, thin characters compared to, say, if we come over here to Dexter, very wide characters, about how short he is. Well, actually, no, then again, we have Dee Dee, though. Does that kind of break? Well, I'm not saying they have to be different. But most of the characters do lean towards the thin side. You don't see too many, unless it's like a really macho masculine character, which don't appear too much. Well, let me see. You have Satan, or whoever the fuck it is, over in... I know he appeared. I haven't actually seen the episode. I just know he's there. And we have the Hellhound dude. Any other, like, big burly characters? And I'm not counting, like, background or side characters. We're talking about characters I can actually remember. Yeah, aside from really macho, manly characters, so to speak, every main character I can think of is very thin. Let me look through a character roster if I can find one. Let me see here. Alrighty, flipping through, thin. Here, I'll pop it up to oh god damn it, go away. I'll pop it up to you all so you all can see this, and I can give a perfect example of this. Oh god damn it! Come on, A-Sprite, pop up. Okay, so it doesn't lag me like crazy. We have a lot of tabs open. Okay, he Asmodeus is a bit on the burly side, but then again, he's a king. He's, you know, he's top of the food chain, so to speak. So that doesn't surprise me. Thin. I don't know who the fuck this is. I'm pretty sure it's a dude. Thin. Still thin overall. I wouldn't say entirely, but overall thin. He kind of goes up to medium. Thin. That's double thin there. Thin. Except for maybe the Hound dude, but the rest are thin. Looking through here, I think all of them are thin, actually. Yeah, so overall, there are exceptions, but overall, very spindly, thin characters. Like, I can get almost any character, aside from a very few, and they're all going to be thin and spindly. So it is pretty consistent there. So, let's look at the style. So, why do I like the style besides just being different than the other ones? Oh, not these, I'm not counting, I'm mainly talking about, like... Not you. Where the fuck did it go? Where'd it go? Did I remove it? I think I removed it. Did I remove it? I think I exited out, but the Sans face. This fucking Sans face. It's different than that style of cartoons around later. I mean, it's later than them. It's much later than those are, because those are like early 2010s. Hell, Waltz is like 2020 or 2022. Yeah, 2022 actually. It's hard to tell what I really like about like the character designs. I mean, they do have a unique silhouette. That's without a doubt. They have unique silhouettes, and that's very important for character design. The eyes, I would definitely say, because a lot of her characters' eyes, at least for ladies, the guys are a little different. They're pretty thin, but for ladies, actually, let's grab. Hold on, let me grab. Let's grab these. One's pretty good reference. Yeah, so I mean, it's no surprise. It's generally when you're making lady characters, you're gonna do something with the eyelashes. That's like a really good way to distinguish. But like if you look at Millie here, again, a little pixelated, hard to tell, but you have flicking up eyelashes here. You want Charlie here, very thick, weird design eyelashes. Like that's definitely a thing with her lady characters. Is she just goes fucking ham with the eyelashes, or whoever does the art. I don't know details on the exact artist of the shows. I have to figure out the exact details. Even if you look at Luna here, crazy eyelashes. The guys are just thin. Let me see if I can find. I'm pretty sure. What about Stolas? Is he also? Oh, where's that? Well, Asmodeus is really just a big flame, so I'm not really with him. Yeah, even Stolas, who is much more, as you could say, elegant of the male characters. Even he has very simple, overall, probably a little more complex than the other ones, but overall just simple, thicker, but still simple eyelash design. But also still throws a little thing there. Actually, wait, hold on. There's another character from Hollow Knight we could probably throw in here, actually. What's Grim? I like his design. Because he reminds me of V, a little bit. Anyways, yeah, of course somebody made a Stolas Grim. They almost look exactly the same. In terms of like overall like feel, actually I'll just show you all that picture then. But in the overall feel, they are very similar. I'd be curious if there's any artist overlap in this. But if we look here, you know, there's here there. I mean, looking at Grim here. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I mean that is a good point. Now that I look at it. Because Hollow Knight overall has a cartoony design, but it's a very like it's definitely more like dark game. It's Hollow Knight in terms. I mean, it still has like cute, goofy characters here and there, but overall though, it still has a serious design. We even have actually. Let's pull up. I need to delete. Hold on, let me delete some of these tabs. We have way too many fucking tabs. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. I just need to get rid of some. I can. Don't save. Definitely do not save over my actual art. I think the rest of you are fine. Let me see here. What was I gonna check? Oh yes, we were gonna check. What the fuck? Oh yeah, Hornet. Doop-a-doop-a-doo, boop-a-doop-boop-boop. Because then again, there's also like very simple designs. Like I would debate going with simple designs like this. My only thing, the reason why I don't, is because, well, I want my lady characters to look like really good ladies. You know what I mean? But as well as the guys as well. But like, I do like these. Like, I would love to do more simple because, you know, it goes back to, not that this is a really good example, mind you, but my stupid simple designs when I actually like detail them. Oh, well, these aren't detailed; these are just doodles. But like if I actually detail them, but you can do something like this where there's really not much detail you need to do here. Like the most details on the robe, and it's simple detail. It's like, you know, like let's do. I'll be very rough with it. I don't know, something like that. Very rough doodle. And you just throw the cape on. Actually, it'll come up that way. Even if we don't do like the whole Oh, geez, more fluttery. We'll just do that. We're just doodling. And then for the legs, you wouldn't have to worry much, because for this kind of design, it's just literally like black spindles. Like if you were to animate this, which probably is one of the reasons why they went to the design, besides just the design itself. But if you were to animate this, it would not be hard to animate this at all, because it's just black legs with no real defining shape. It's just a curvy line, and you're done. Even for the regular Hollow Knight, right? Whatever the vessel, whatever the fuck you would call him, the main character of the original Hollow Knight. But that's not necessarily the design kind of style I would like to go for in terms of something being... No, I want... Lady characters look good, and I want the male... I don't think I have a good example, besides Jack here, but he's not the only example. Yeah, I don't have any other example. I mean, Stolas is fine, but that's not... I don't mind making characters like that, but that's not the thing I'm looking for the men. Like, for the my male characters, I don't really do it. I probably do need to draw more male characters. I definitely do. I also need to draw more booty. But, largely because it's been a long time since I really draw male characters. I think if I start doing my comics a lot more, I would. But if I was to draw male characters, I actually don't mind drawing more feminine men, but generally speaking, let me see here. Let me think. How about... So, okay, so here's a weird disparity of, like, kind of things I'd be looking for. So when I think of male character, I almost think exactly like it's some fucking DC superhero, right? Almost, not exact. Except for, like, myself. I don't really think of myself as that. But I'll just let's take a basic bitch thing here. Here's a basic bitch one. Just Batman. Because he's Batman. You know. Boop. There you go. You got your Batman. Maybe not this much. Maybe thin just a little bit, but you know, like if I take him here, hold on. Ooh, no, not like that. Hold on, not like that. Ooh, like that. Something like that. This is kind of thing I imagine. Like it's either this or I lean more slender. I don't know. Like I would say me. But there's me and then there's this. Yeah. So yeah. I don't know. Anyways, do I want to end it here or? Because it's kind of hard. I can't really think to like draw like a comic right now. I have no ideas of anything I'd like to draw. But anyways, in summary though, I think I need to do more of this. Like just stupid little designs like this. And hopefully after doing this for so long, I start getting used to curves and stuff like that. Like, you know, like if I do designs like this, because like again, like even if we go to like the most simple character designs, which I think the Power Girls would be the most simple character designs to give an example for, because they're literally just a fucking circle with like, you know, straight body parts that bend. Like that's literally all they are. Like if you look at this, like say for example here, like so normally the torso, if I make this fucking bigger, would be like that, just straight square, right? But it's almost like a ribbon, right? If you imagine like a ribbon bending overall. Because like if I'm being like if I'm doing art, right, and I'm trying to be hyper realistic, like unnecessarily realistic and perfectionist about it, my brain would be like, oh my god, this isn't correct. I have to do like, you know, full circle cylinders and all that, which is fine because everything is a shape. But this here, they're like, nah, we're just gonna bean. We're done. The good kind of bean, not the sans bean. Sans bean can burn. But anyways, but no, that's why I like, because the thing about these is that you learn how to bend the shape. I mean, granted, these arms are generally like thin and bigger at the top for design purposes, but if we imagine like say their arms are normally like this, right? But then you learn how to bend it, which also makes animation a lot simpler in this regard. Yeah, but that's just general things to learn. I just need to get used to bending my shapes. And I'd say there's Tanakovsky, whatever the hell his name is, he's really good at this. Where, because a lot of times he has very straight, jagged edges, but then he also can curve straight, you know. Also, little side fun fact with Samurai Jack: it is one of the few cartoon. Actually, hold on, I'm curious. Let me check something real quick. So I think it was technically the first cartoon that didn't use hard outlines. Let's see. Adventure Time used hard outlines. I know the original cartoons it didn't. It was, you know, yeah, Steven Universe's hard outlines. Actually, does actually we can look here. Yeah, they use hard. Yeah, Hell Boston use hard outlines. Yeah, it was one of the few shows that did not use hard outlines, and the other reason why this interests me is because my general art style does not really use hard outlines. However, I do have to give a catch here. The catch I have to give here is that a lot of my, well, I wouldn't say my most recent work, but I would say, actually, let me double check here. Let me check something. So, even if I start focusing on, check something real quick. Even if I start doing some works that have harder outlines, overall, my pixel art tends to lean towards not having hard outlines. Yeah, because almost all my recent works, yeah, just about all my recent works still do not, even if I start with outlines, I don't end with hard outlines. So that's a unique thing that would be good to learn this, because the reason why I don't really do hard outlines with pixel art, now, outlines are really good for if you want your art to pop, especially if you want it to seem cartoonish, which, to be fair, if I'm learning some of these styles here, they would probably be beneficial to do that. But the reason as a pixel artist I don't like outlines unless the style calls for it. The reason why I don't like outlines is because if I'm doing a little sprite, what's this? I think it's like 16 by 16 here. Yeah. If I'm doing a little sprite that only fits within a 16 square, I do not have room for a fucking outline. I just don't have room. If you look at my emotes here, let me see. Boop, 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 boop. Like just most of my emotes. Do any of my emotes have hard outlines? Besides ones I commissioned. There's like 2 I commissioned and they have hard outlines. No, all my other ones, even the little shy dude here, that's not like, that's an art. I would say, yeah, that is technically a colored outline. I would say for him. And the wiggle guy right here. Yeah, he has an outline. But let's see. The rest of these do not have outlines. No outline, no outline. I don't know if Piggy has outlines. I have to look at him. No outline, no outline, no outline. Especially the cultists. The cultists definitely do not have outlines. Let me see here. Do you have outlines? No, obviously you didn't. Does Piggy dude have outlines? There's not really outlines. It's mainly just like shading outline, but it's not. Yeah, because like the top of his head does not have outlines. Yeah, he only has outlines to, because even if you do a non-outline art style, you still do have to do outlines on areas where the colors overlap, or they're going to blend. So you do like softer outlines for those, so they could be distinguished. Even my when I did draw Samurai Jack on pixel art. Let me see here. Where is Jack? If I could find, if Windows, there he is. Like even here when I did the fan piece of him, this is honestly, I would say when I looked at it, this is actually mostly accurate. As you can see, no outlines except right here. You have to do an outline, or you won't be able to distinguish this arm, right? Let me see. Let me check something real quick. I don't quite recall Jack acquiring this much detail. Let me see. I mean, it's not like crazy amount of detail, but it's enough to be worth noting. Okay, some interesting notes. Let me see here. No, yeah, that's about as much detail as he had. Yeah, the only thing I would complain about is maybe this dips a little too much. It'll probably straighten out just a little bit. But it's fine otherwise. Yeah, so... But no, but the Samurai Jack style, it really fits my style in terms of, like, I don't do outlines in pixel art. I generally don't do outlines. And it, again, like I said, it was a show, it was one of the first few shows of its, especially of its time, that just didn't do outlines. And the big thing about the show overall, not just character design, but just overall, is that it was really good at negative space. Let me grab some stuff. Oh, another non-outline example, because I'm mentioning I want to make sure my style is cartoonish, but also has pretty ladies. You got Ashy here. No outlines. Aside from, you know, the bare minimum that you need when colors overlap. You know, like at the neck here, obviously the breast and leg. And like the green here, they probably had to put one there. No, but that's generally the style I like. I don't like doing too many outlines, which also means I'd be terrible at line art if I actually did proper line art. Because my early pixel art style was I did big blobs. I didn't do hard line art. They've been doing more hard line art just to get the shape going. Whether that helps or hinders me, I have to determine. I think what I need to do, though, is maybe starting tomorrow, I just really need to dip in to think about, like, something to do, right? Because I need to play with art, not just feel like, hey, I want to do this thing because I got to do something because I haven't done art in a while, you know? Because I'll get random thing. I can't show it on stream. Well, I mean, I could. It's not hard, not safe for work or anything. It's just I don't want to risk it because Twitch is a butt. But what is it? But no. Then we have, let's see here. Okay, so this one's interesting. So this one, Samurai Jack, was apparently one of the African dudes that trained him. I think it was Zulus. I think it was. Oh, come on, close. Stop lagging. Oh, okay, I gotta close some of these. Hold on. We're getting laggy. Go away, Batman. Like, I wouldn't mind something simple like this. Like, very simple. It's just, again, this is my brain and what holds me back. So this works. Like, it's a very simple, it's overall a simple style, but there's still shape to everything. But the thing is my perfectionist brain, right, would hold me back hard, which is why this character is a perfect example of why I need to go back to doing this. As stupid and as like opposite it seems to what I'm talking about and what I would like to learn, you know, like maybe a mix of this and this with this and so on. Because this is from Samurai Jack right here. Actually, another okay, I gotta do a little side interesting note here. Because obviously his skin's like pitch black, but he uses like hard white to delineate a lot of things. Which, again, my perfectionist brain would freak out and say, no, I gotta shade it. I gotta fucking shade it. It has to be a gradient or something. When no, there's no shading at all, and it works. Then there's also, like, for example, you got the legs here. Like, what are the... Like, if we're maybe a perfectionist, what are these legs? What the fuck are these legs? Right? Like around here, specifically, where the thighs are. What the fuck is this? Like, it's like this guy, like, did half of leg day, right? He did half of leg day, right? Like, what went on here? And... But overall, though, the shape works. Like, this is a dude. He's probably a warrior of some kind. Especially my perfection... Oh, my perfection was totally get on my ass about this right here, right? Because, look at it. You got this flat... lower part of the torso here, like around the belly or whatever, but then you just have like random 3D. Well, it's not actually 3D. His arm over here is blocking it, but because if this arm was down, you'd probably see like this here, right? But and like, you know, I would probably freak out about the feet being just flat, even though it's a cartoon, that's what it's supposed to be. Or like, you know, because a normal foot would be like whoosh, kind of like the little curve there. Or yeah, it would be like that because the one toe's further up. But this guy's nope, fuck it, straight, because it's animation, right? Then there's hands, but hands are hands. Hands are always hands. They're always gonna be a pain in the ass no matter what you do. But anyways, unless you do mitten hands, which is when I was younger, that's what I did. I just did mitten hands. I don't have as much of a problem with hands as I used to, but they're still hands. They're still fucking annoying to do overall. Like, I hate doing hands. When you make them look good, they're great, but when you don't make them look good, they're fucking hands. Okay, now here's another perfectionist thing. Because the big key to these things is being able to take these shapes and make them express what you want to express. Because again, my perfectionism, which hinders me fucking hard, especially like when you're learning art, like you learn like the Loomis method for the head. They call it the Loomis method. If you don't know what it is, it's basically, I'm giving a rough estimate of it. So I got a perfect circle. I take half this circle, make it like the bottom part, so I can just like, you know, it's not a hard rule of this, but you can kind of do that, just roughly like that. I'm being very, very, very rough with it. Or you take, or no, I think it's quarter of the circle actually, not half, but you can take a part of the circle, you know, you do your little thing, blah blah blah. The mouth or nose or whatever is right here, whatever. Just that's the Loomis method. Now, if we look over here, like that is still true. Like it still has it to where like, although it's a big oval thing, you got the nose right there, you know, mouth a little down here. My perfectionism would think like, you know, it's not actually perfectionism here. You would think like that, but here's just, you know, well, I mean, then again, he does have the beard. The beard obstructs it heavily. The beard heavily obstructs it. But like, it's just like a different mindset, you know? It's like a certain mindset you have to get. Because, you know, my brain would think, okay, we got this African dude. Well, then again, he is old, so he would be graying. Yeah, so never mind. Scratch that on that thought. But, what is it? It's just like, how do I put this? It's like a total different mindset with the art, right? Or like just like, how do you take simple shapes, right? You take simple shapes and you put them in a way that makes the overall form look a lot more complicated than it actually is. I mean, this can be a challenge to a degree in animation when it moves, right? Just having like this shape here twist around, and definitely there's still obviously anatomical knowledge here. Like they bend it around to give some like the muscles, and you get the elbow here. Here's a muscle down there, you know. Or especially like right here, you need some anatomical and perspective knowledge here in that part of the arm. You know, like here it's not just a straight line, right? It's we got the little curve here because of how the arm's shaped, right? So obviously the fundamentals are still there. Yawn. But yeah, but like I said though, I need to go back to this, even just for the sole purpose of letting go, of not trying to make it perfect or look good. I mean, you still want it to look good, but like you're not trying to be hyper anatomically correct, right? And most importantly of all is you learn how to form the shapes, because my original drawings, these don't do them justice, because over time I was able to make it flow to where I can actually make these forms more dynamic overall, right? I'm sure y'all can use your imagination to see a character like this in more believable ways. Even the stick dudes, like, they're still stick dudes, like, you know, they're still sticks, but like for example, the legs wouldn't be all weird wide like this, the proportions between the head and the body were fine. Not that they're anatomically correct, they actually do have bigger heads than what would be proportionally accurate, but but the overall shape looked like shapes, right? Like, they seemed like they were actually spheres and squares when relevant and so on. Or a really good example was Jim's hair here. Actually, I remember he had like a slight ponytail in the back. Like, not like full, actually not ponytail, more like, kind of like how Samurai Jack has that little triangle in the back of his head. Jim had something like that in the back of his head. Something like, it wasn't like this, but if you see the back of his head, he has something like that back there. I don't quite remember, it's been a long time. But, I need to go back to this. As stupid as Ballsack Man is, I need to go back to a simple style so I can slowly develop, because what will happen is, right? So you do this, you eventually start getting very good at the shape forms. Like, I get his to a proper, I mean, granted, I use digital tools, it'll be easier, but I get his head shaped properly, I can move his body around in any perspective I want, and so on, and even make it flow in animation. And then eventually I'm like, I want to take it to the next level. I understand all this. And I'm going to look at, let's say, I don't know, Dexter. We'll just take a random one. We'll take Dexter, and we learn how the shapes bend and all that stuff. All right, then I go back here, and I start maybe do the weird cartoony thing where, I'm just going to do a weird doodle here. Where, like, you know, maybe I take his head and, you know, like, hold on. I gotta do like, oh, something stupid like that. Maybe not like this, but like to some extreme degree, like cartoonish degree, you start doing weird shapes or. Just pop out. Hold on, let me see. I'm just gonna fuck around because why not? Because I can. You know, just do weird, like, pop-out things like that to kind of just really play with the character, right? Then I get used to that, and I'm like, okay, well, I want to add some more anatomical things. I don't want to just do stick figures anymore. I look at maybe Samurai Jack, or I look at... goofily enough, I mean, not that I would want to do this as my main style or anything, but even Ed and Eddie, I would say, is as cartoonish and not accurate they are, and technically speaking. Start doing that kind of stuff, and then maybe eventually move on to something much more. I would definitely say this style is much more difficult. Well, because there's just a lot more going on here. Like, there's so many more shapes that flow with this. It's still an overall, like, simpler for animation, but there's still a lot. Like, do you not know how fucking annoying animating this fucking thing here would be? You know, with this, all of its curves and shit. How fucking annoying that's gotta be. Like all the, I mean, granted, to be fair, these are round shapes, so they're not too bad, but because round shapes generally are not too bad to animate, because if you want a really good example why round shapes are easy, it's kind of like why the bean, the Cal art style became a thing. It was because round shapes are easier to animate because they are the same shape no matter what perspective you look at them from. If we take Pop-Up Girls here for our perfect example, is because their heads are basically big-ass ovals. So all you have to do to move their heads around, you don't have to change the shape of their head. All you have to do is whoop, whoop. Oh, well, that's where the front of the head is. So now we have eyes here, maybe an eye there, and then you got the little smile there. The hair, roughly like, I'll just do a little thing here. Can't really see because the green's not very good here, but then, you know, her ribbon would be something like that, something along these lines. I'm not doing it proper. So obviously my lack of shape understanding is showing here. I mean, if I sat with it, I get it, but y'all can see. Let me just, maybe if I fill, I can't really fill them because it's beyond that. But y'all get the thing. If we look here, we can see the actual eyes. Again, if she looks anywhere, all I have to do is just shift the thing. Let me grab, let's do purple, it'll be a little easier to see. Or like over here, no, no matter what perspective, I don't have to do a drawing, it's her head there. But let's say we want to move her eyes over here, boop. Actually, this one's a little curved, this one's a little bit like that, so we'll do like that. And all we gotta do is whoosh, big ass circle here. And we do little hair. Actually, hair does cross her eyes. Then there, and then we just do like that. Whatever that shape is. You might have to play around with that shape at perspective, but well, the same point still stands. And roughly speaking, again, we're being very rough with it, but there you go. That's all you gotta do. You don't have to change the shape of the head. Unlike if we did, say... Actually, Hellball Skaters are a perfect example, actually. What about Luna? I'm not sure about her. She has the... I call it the furry head. I'll explain that in a minute. But, like... His, like, the perfect example is Blitzo and Moxie's head. Well, mainly Blitzo's head, actually. Moxie... He actually does have deceptive shape to it. It doesn't show head on, but if you actually watch the show and see them turn their heads, this here is actually pointed. Almost like, imagine like a lizard or something. You know, it's actually kind of pointed, although you can't really tell from the front. But actually there's a sharpness there, and actually if his mouth is closed, it comes up like something like that. Like imagine that's his mouth or something. But Blitzo's, that's gotta be a fucking annoying to animate dynamically. Like I'm just an idiot. I'm just an idiot. I'm a shitty artist. What do I know? But compared to all these other characters we've talked, actually, I don't know about Ed and Eddie. Man. Well, Ed and Eddie doesn't really do anything dynamic though. It's just straight head on, like all the time. For the most part, there are some exceptions. So yeah, Ed and Eddie actually would be very similarly because they don't do. Yeah, because these are not consistent, except maybe Ed. Especially when you got the characters where their head kind of pops out like that, right? I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I keep saying this. I just don't know how to break down this art style. It's a great style for what it's meant for, but I have no idea how to break that down. I can't really think right now, but like even Visi-Pops you can break down to a certain degree. Because again, like almost all the characters are just fucking skinny, aside from a few really macho ones. Oh, by the way, here's another example, perfect example actually. When I say go back to this, my old art of this, get really good at the shapes, and then eventually, when I get really good at the shapes, I can start, I want to add more anatomical characters and go to like Samurai Jack or whatever else I'm taking inspiration from. For example, here is when you get better with the shapes, you can make fucking football head over here. You get a guy with a fucking football head, and it's still really engaging character design, you know? Because you understand the shapes, because the point isn't realism, the point is a character silhouette, right? And I think one of the things that hold me back from making a Visago in, say, either something like this style or this style, like an Aku, is, you know, you got the ego, it's the OC, it's me, it has to be fucking badass and stuff. But the thing is, though, is even if you have, like, really simple shapes, like, because Jack's very simple. He's very simple. I closed up my other picture, but a better example would be if I had my other Jack. Do I still have? Yeah, I do. We can pull it up. So he's very simple because all he is. I mean, granted, if he had his a gi, I think it's called. If he didn't have his gi on, you'd have a lot more toned muscles like this guy. You'd have to maybe mess around with. But as long as he's not, what the hell's playing? I want to put just some lo-fi on because I don't know what's popping on Newgrounds. Good enough. Where were we? But if I go to Jack here, now obviously I'm a little bit more dynamic with this piece, but overall, if we're just breaking it down overall, all Jack is square, little triangle. I know I do a little weird here, but it's actually just a little triangle like that. Square, triangle, square. Now it's a little different because he does have his robes. I mean, if we're going to break it down underneath, then you got a little square there. Boop, 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 boop. Aside from muscles underneath, of course. it's only this because of the gi that is curved there. I mean, it is curved on the arms here, but actually, they're actually pretty. Relatively speaking, they're actually pretty detailed here. For a cartoon, like in terms of like the outline and such, when you really don't have to be, because like you know, like if we go, then again, he has weird. I think Moxie's probably a better example here, because while they do have the little curves on the elbows here, overall all Moxie is god damn it, it's fucking high resolution, man. It's getting on my nerves. You know, it's just whoop. Little straight, maybe slight curves, but mostly just straight. Boom. And even if he didn't have this shirt on, his arms probably just be like that. Or actually, no, wait, hold on, I'm an idiot. His hand's right there. And you know, bam. Then whatever his fingers are, you know. Or here's a better example, just straight, straight. I mean, perspective pops it out a little bit, so. Whoosh. Just a little square for the hand. Or square-esque shape. Boop, boop, boop. Although one thing they really go crazy with, but I think it's mainly because I personally just say Vizzy Pop's a furry artist because she makes a lot of them. Is the what's it called? It's called digigrade. That's a technical term. When you have the your with animals you have the heel joint higher up, I think. Obviously, I had to get used to this because of me, but I do find the way she does this is the way she does the curves here very interesting. Because are there any are there any older shows that have to do that often? Hold on, I need to look. I'm talking like even old shows like 80s and shit. Hold on, I'm not sure. Trying to think. Oh, there are some Disney ones. What the fuck's it called? Chippendale? Maybe it was Chippendale. Oh, then. Oh, no, hold on. Alvin. I'm curious how they did their design. No, not the fucking modern one. No, they didn't. No, they just had human legs. So not them. How about? Did they just have regular legs? Hold on. I need a reference. Hold on. I'm trying to find. He gave me a reference where I can't see their whole fucking body. Where are they? I can't see. God damn it. Give me a proper image. Where is it? Okay, here's one. No, they have regular. I don't know. Would you consider? I know Gad has regular legs. I don't know about the guys. Do they have regular legs? I never noticed that. Kind of. Anyways, but it's called. I think it's like digigrade or digit something. I forget the exact technical term. But basically, it's just look at the hind legs of your dog. Basically, where on a human, if you were to imagine like your heel was raised higher up. That's literally what it is anatomically. That's all it is. Like if you imagine imagine this here on Moxie here as one big foot, like human foot, right? You have the heel here, in front of the foot here. That's literally what it is. It's just the back foot raised. Blitzo doesn't have it. Obviously, Luna has it for obvious reasons. Like this here would be an entire human foot, right? But she does the design here because I think it's mainly because there's not really. Are there any like well-known TV shows that has a character that has? Okay, let me look up the technical term. What's the technical? I just want to double check on that. Digitigrade. That is such a. Say that 10 times fast. Digitigrade. I was close. There's no T. I didn't say the T. Oh no, it is digigrade. It is. I was correct. It is digigrade. Yeah, digigrade. Yeah, digigrade. What was I gonna show? It was yeah, I can't think of any like well-known character in a like an old cartoon that had digigrade legs. Let's look at classic stuff. What about I know Bugs Bunny didn't. What about Tom and Jerry? Did Jerry? I don't think Tom did. No, they all just had regular... How long have shows just been avoiding digigrade legs? Okay, well, I can't really say anything. This is as far as I'm aware. I mean, I guarantee there's some example somewhere where I'm wrong. Wait, hold on, wait, no. What about the... Hold on. There's one. Let me see. There might be... No, there is one. Gargoyles. Gargoyles is actually a perfect example. I haven't seen it, but I'm aware of it, and the character designs are pretty good. Hold on, let me find an example here I could pop up on screen. Yeah, right here. Okay, so there was a show that did this. It's so weird that I had to, especially considering like old-fashioned shows had a lot of animals, I had to dig so far to find anything. Yeah, digigrade right there. Because the heels pulled up. But, okay, so they weren't, so definitely wasn't the, not that it's a surprise, but definitely not the first, there are others. But, it is weird, I had to look for a while to actually find any. But no, no, go away, Jew. Alrighty, I think I had enough rambling for tonight. I think, so Vasago homework I'm gonna try to get a comic, like this is really simple comics, because back when I did these comics here, it was like the panels would be like go away, ballsack man, nobody wants you, you're not loved, fuck you, and not in a fun way. Let's see, so like, I think my panels primarily were like 6 panel lines like this. And I'll break them up randomly accordingly. Like, maybe like, break it up there, maybe do a whole strip here, break it up there, kind of like that. I know with like the Twitter ecosphere and so on, it's usually most little comics that you're meant to post there are like 4 panels just perfectly lined up. Or like, you know, like 1 long panel and then 2 smaller panels. But I don't quite know what it is. Because obviously I can't do a serious story in just like a few panels like that, unfortunately. It's unfortunate such nuance is lost in that format. But, I mean, there's some comics I've seen on like little web things that pop up every now and then on Twitter that are pretty emotional. But if we're talking silly, stupid, funny things, it's been so long since I've done silly, stupid, funny things. I don't know, I'll be dead honest. Well, I've gained more of a sense of humor in casual conversation for the most part, usually when I'm fucking bored. I've kind of lost my sense of humor in making characters. Like, yes, I know it's vulgar with fucking ballsack man over here, but fucking ballsack man. But how would I put it? Anyways, Vasago homework. I need to do more comics, but we're gonna raid out now. Not that we have many here to pop out at, but I do a bunch of lovely lurkers. You are lovely. Ghosty isn't here, but I'm just gonna say it anyway again. Happy birthday, Ghosty, even though you're not here to see it. Happy birthday, dear. Who do we have to raid? Algamade, we have Naomi. I am Naomi's exploding. What the hell's going on over there? Oh, is she doing a 24-hour stream today? Doing art. I'll probably raid into her because we were doing art. What the fuck? That's weird. Saying her audio is on, but I don't actually have. Hold on, give me a second. I gotta fix this tab. There we go. Alright, it's fixed now. No, it's not 24 hour. I don't know where the hell she exploded from. But, probably raid. Oh no, they're good. Is anybody else? Let me see. We'll probably raid into her, but let me see what my other options are. No, I think we'll just raid into Naomi. Oh, is B doing anything special? I don't know if B's doing anything special today. No, just Monster Hunter Wilds. I don't care much for that game. It's a good game, it just bores the fuck out of me, personally. They make you they try to drag you through the goddamn story at the beginning, and I just fucking hate it so much. The story, like, it's weird, because from what I hear, apparently they're complaining, like, oh, they need more story in the game, and everyone's complaining about that, but then they add story, and then me as a newcomer coming in, I'm like, I am fucking bored of this game. Like, can I not go through the story and just go kill monsters, and not need a certain rank to go fight certain monsters? I just want to go kill monsters. Please just let me go kill monsters. Like, I'm skipping I normally don't skip cutscenes. I normally never skip cutscenes, but in this game, I'm skipping every fucking I do not care. I don't care. I just want to go kill monsters. And I'm only doing the story because you're telling me I can't kill the monster unless I do the story, so, yeah. Alright, so we're gonna raid to Naomi. She's doing art. And it seems like they're having fun today. But anyways, Toodles Mortals, I will be getting some comics going, but Toodles. Hopefully. I still need a little bit. I need some ideas, though. Toodles.
Each other to stop and end timers.